And Dave Gasper.
Let's stay up all night long.
From Monroe Street to Lombardi Avenue.
There is your dagger.
This is your daily deep dive into the teams we love and the games we watch.
Touchdown, Wisconsin. And there it is. The Brewers will punch a ticket to the postseason.
Now here's Doug Russell.
Happy Halloween, everyone. Tomorrow, of course. I think tomorrow's All Saints Day, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I think that's how that works.
And then the day after that is Dia de los Muertos.
Day of the Dead.
Cultured.
Day of the Dead. Oh, no. I'm
Nick.
I am cultured.
Nick, I am loving the costume today.
Yeah, I thought that was what we were doing. I thought we had costumes today. So
You have to check out the stream on YouTube or
Facebook or
Twitter,
X. It'll be, you got to see Nick as the Dark Knight.
Love it.
there are no ear holes in my and I'm balancing my headphones on top of this. But yeah, I'm Batman. I don't know.
Okay, Nick, you need to talk like that for the entire 4-hour show. Can you do that for us?
I can try.
I can only imagine what your voice is going to sound like tomorrow. Oh, well, let's see. When's your next show? You've got not till Monday. I got
plenty of time.
All right. So there's no football
Justice
this weekend. You guys have basketball on Monday night. I've got my.
Where is she?
I've got my my throwback Acme Packers blue and gold.
That's nice
Sweatshirt on. Like I said on yesterday's show, I don't mind the fan stuff. I just don't like the throwback uniforms that the Packers sometimes wear, but they are going to be wearing them this weekend. They've got the ugly brown helmets, but that's neither here nor there. That's an NFL thing. They like to sell merch. And nothing pushes merch like more different kinds of merch that you haven't purchased yet. So I'm watching the NFL Network right now. Good Morning Football. They are, because that's what TV shows do. They go all out. We got, I can't even tell who's Troy Polamalu right now. Is that Manti Te'o who's doing Troy Polamalu? And then you had Kyle Brandt as an NFL referee. So good stuff.
Yeah, it looks like on ESPN you got Ryan Clark as Cam Newton.
I love that. That's good. Well, or Willy Wonka.
Willy Wonka.
That's
maybe.
Willy Wonka.
I mean, Cam Newton and hats. I mean, you really can never truly tell with Cam.
But it's a purple jacket with a gold bow tie, and then the hat is like brown and it goes straight up. That's not Cam Newton. So Cam is dressed as Cam. Listen, Cam is stylish. I got nothing but love for Cam.
More
Newton.
style than me, that's for sure.
But Cam dresses as Halloween. It's every day. That's any day that ends in Y for Cam. So yeah, some have gotten into it more than others. We'll put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, come on.
But Nick, well done.
Thank you.
Slow clap.
You can imagine my surprise when I walked in and there were nobody else here in the building.
Oh, there's no one even in the building to show off for? All the sales
Friday.
is gone?
I guess the sales staff gets to go home on Fridays.
Yeah.
So it's just me and Monica.
Well, at least Monica's
and
there.
Sean.
Monica, listen, Monica and Sean, they run the place, and without them, the place would fall apart. So it's good to see them on a Friday. So I saw Armin. Armin had like an old school leather football helmet on.
Yeah.
I only kind of passed him in glancing.
Yeah. He still had the tag on top though, so he's
going to return it
afterwards. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That was the first thing I noticed.
I bought it on TikTok.
Can you buy things on TikTok?
Yeah, you can.
Oh, there's a TikTok marketplace?
TikTok shop.
You kids.
I bought it last year. I was sick on Halloween.
There you go.
Even Batman gets sick.
Batman never gets sick.
Batman gets sick of crime. Criminals.
We've got a good show for you today. It's going to be a Friday show. Let's see. Paul Brettle's going to join us coming up in just a few minutes at 10:20 from ESPN Lacrosse, the Wisconsin State Journal, NBC 26. We will go on the Packers beat with him. We're going to talk some hockey with Brian Posick from the Wisconsin Badgers Radio Network. The Badgers with a 5-2 win over Minnesota last night. Christian Fitzpatrick with the hat trick. So, hey, listen, they're humming right now. Ranked 14th in the country. They beat their arch rivals, team they hadn't beaten in a while in Minnesota. They have an odd, if you know anything about college hockey, they usually play back-to-back days. Usually it's a Friday, Saturday or Saturday, Sunday. Every once in a blue moon, it'll be a Thursday, Friday, but almost never is it a Thursday, Saturday. Well, that's what they have this weekend. Just kind of a scheduling oddity.
Oh, well, that's what. Well, I mean, they probably wanted off for Halloween so that those guys could go trick or treating. They could dress up as Batman,
perhaps,
and yeah,
or they could just dress up as hockey players.
Yeah, that's true. But is that really Halloween costume? If that's
it can
what
be
you
if you got one. If you got one that's built in. If you wear a hockey, like Giannis wore a Minions outfit at the game last night, but he could have gone as Giannis. He could have gone. Listen, I'm going to get the Ghouls.
I'm going to go as a basketball player.
I'm going to get the Ghouls and Goblins this afternoon at my house, but I will count to see how many Giannis's I have, because in years past I've gotten a lot of Giannis's.
Okay,
I've gotten a few Jordan Loves over the years. In years past, before he departed, got a lot of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but Giannis can't go as Giannis for Halloween.
Of course he can. Of course
can
he? Of course he can.
I don't know. I feel like that wouldn't be as much in the spirit.
Well, I mean, but are you going to? It's the best costume ever. Who are you? I'm Giannis.
Okay, but Woody. I think he likes to have fun. Like he was Shrek a couple years ago, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, Giannis likes to have fun.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure he'll be in some fun outfit today. Maybe that's why he was out last night. That he didn't want to play, didn't want to risk being injured for trick or treating today.
Got 4 little kids, man. They're going to go out and they're going to be out in the neighborhood. So.
Yeah, that's right.
He could have been Gru, and then they could have been, dressed up as the Minions. Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Maybe.
Gru is the leader of the Minions.
Despicable Me?
Okay. Yeah.
Are you familiar?
No, I've heard of it. I've heard of Despicable
now we're talking about movies that we haven't seen.
Okay. But also, to be fair, I'm not expecting Doug to have seen Despicable Me.
Right. I mean, what are we talking about? Do you really think that
I'm not trying to be a jerk. It would have been a good costume for Doug.
Minions?
I mean,
yeah,
if he was Gru.
Yeah.
If he was Gru.
Let me guess. Is he a bald guy?
Bald guy, main character.
I feel like I'm being tight.
He tries to steal the moon.
You could have worn all black, and you would have just had to wear a gray sweater. That's
an easy one. So
and then we all could have been your minions.
I'm nobody's minion.
I kind of like that. I feel like I'm being typecast as every bald character. It's like, Doug could be that.
I mean, you could have been Lex Luthor.
Yep, there's one. Sure, let's keep going. Mr. Clean.
Kingpin.
Yep, could have done that. Let's see. Dr. Evil. I've gotten that one a lot.
Yeah. Dr. Pole.
There was a movie that was from before you were born. The name of the movie was Powder, and it was about a kid who had, I don't know if he had alopecia or not, but he had very white skin and he didn't have any hair. So I've gotten that one.
In that.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything and everything.
Bald eagle.
Actually, there's a concept there, Nick, and I've got to workshop that a little bit. The NickLightLaw.com talking text line open to you at 877-794-1973. Coming up an hour from now, Bill Schmidt will drop by with the No BS zone as the Packers get set to take on the Carolina Panthers. They are home for just the second time in 52 days. One home game in almost 2 months. Then they get back-to-back home games. They've got the Philadelphia Eagles coming up Monday night, November 10th. We will discuss the concept of the trap game because it's been talked about a lot this week in Green Bay. But the Carolina Panthers aren't a terrible team. It looks like Bryce Young will probably play this weekend. We'll also hear from your newly minted NFC Defensive Player of the Month, Micah Parsons, meeting the media yesterday. We'll play over-under with Matt LaFleur. Matt LePay is going to drop by. We're going to have a Green Bay Rewind with Mark Daniels. The most important matchup that the Packers and Panthers have ever had was the first matchup that the Packers and Panthers ever had. And Ryan Rollins. How about Ryan Rollins? Heaven sent team savior last night with Giannis out. 13 of 21, 5 of 7 from beyond the arc, 32 points for Ryan Rollins as the Bucks defeat the Golden State Warriors 120-110. So that was a fun game to watch, even without Giannis there. And 17,000 fans were there because of the promise that Giannis was still going to play for this team. Listen, there are going to be some times that he's not going to play. If you know that he's not going to be ever playing again, you're not going to get 17,000 fans there. That's why. No. And we discussed it yesterday, and we'll continue to discuss it because people don't understand why Giannis is still a Milwaukee Buck and why the Milwaukee Bucks will continue to do everything and anything possible to keep Giannis as a member of the Milwaukee Bucks. And the number right now is 17,371. That's how many butts were in the seats last night.
It's a lot of butts.
It's a lot of butts. It's a sellout. Okay, so what are the other things? Because it is Halloween, of course. Favorite Halloween costume that you've ever had? Would love to know what it was. Again, the talk and text line open to you at 877-794-1975.
7-3.
1973. Yep, I can read my own handwriting. 877-794-1973. It's Friday.
That one, Doug?
It's Friday.
Well, you know what? It does make sense. The 97.3 part of the number. I mean,
it could be anything.
Sweet.
Yeah, well, it could be anything now.
Yeah,
that's right.
Any signal. Who knows? Maybe we'll be 1975 next.
Well, if you're trying to listen in Milwaukee, if you're listening in Milwaukee and you're used to listening to us on 97.3 The Game, which is now a music station, number one, as I like to say, thank you for taking the effort to try to find us, because I know that it does take more effort than it used to, and we do appreciate it. I would say it goes without saying, but it doesn't go without saying. It is very important that we acknowledge that you took the effort to come and find us. That having been said, if you want to listen to the Packers, it will be on 95.7. I know it's a lot of numbers. Yeah. 95.7 FM. So the big 95.7. Hits of the 80s and 90s, I think.
Their tagline I don't know.
Let's see. I started Lamar Jackson, and I was rewarded for starting Lamar Jackson.
There we go.
Night.
Yeah.
So when we give you fantasy football help, so the decision was whether or not I was going to start Lamar Jackson or Justin Herbert. I hate Thursday night games with my quarterback when one of them is injured. Last week it worked out because I started Herbert because he played on Thursday Night Football, did really well. Lamar started last night coming off injury, 4 touchdown passes as the Ravens maul the poor Dolphins 28-6.
Yeah, and I started Mark Andrews in one of my leagues. And
let's go.
He didn't do much.
Scored
but only two catches,
2 touchdowns.
But 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns, yeah.
So
I also started Mark Andrews.
Oh, there we go.
Just in obviously a different league.
Obviously.
So we've got that to get to. When we come back, Paul Brettel is going to join us from ESPN Lacrosse, the Wisconsin State Journal, and NBC 26. Brian Posick, again, coming up at the bottom of the hour. And we'll play over-under with Matt LaFleur. Do we have any thoughts as to how long Matt LaFleur is going to go? Not that many injuries to talk about this week. Now, last week, I wasn't here on Friday. And how long? Do you remember how long he went and what the over-under was?
4 minutes and 26 seconds that he went. But it also kind of started with like 30 seconds or so of joking around with Dominique Yates about his repeated questions about Tucker Kraft's leadership.
Okay.
So
Dave pulled a fast one on last Friday.
It's from when he starts and says, hey, and when he said, from the moment he says good morning to the time that Jason Wallace cuts it off and says, is that enough? Is that all? Okay, thanks, coach. So I'm going to set the over under because there's not that much to talk about this week. I'm going to set the over under at 3. And you know what? Everybody else at home can play along as well. If you want to take the over-under.
Text us in your responses.
We have played this long enough to know that the Friday press conference with Matt LaFleur is quite short. Usually just an injury update, and then they go out to practice. I'm going to put the over-under this week at 3 minutes and 54 seconds. 3 minutes. Write it down. 3 minutes.
Write it down.
Write it down. 3 minutes and 54 seconds.
Okay.
All right. We going over or are we going under?
I'm going to go under.
Nick?
I guess I'll take the over.
You don't have to. You don't have to. If you believe it one way or the other, you're not peer pressured into doing anything.
You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
I love it. He's going to play this all night. And if you're not watching on the video stream, Nick got into the spirit of Halloween. He is dressed as the Dark Knight. Dave is not. Neither am I.
I am dressed as Dave.
I'm dressed as Doug. Although what I could put on is some khakis, and I've got the blue, the matching hat that goes with this. Yeah, and I could just be Mike McCarthy from 10 years ago.
There you go, and just be like, I'm a highly successful NFL head coach.
Because Mac is taller than LaFleur. And LaFleur has like the perfectly coiffed hair and
the hair's all done right. The eyebrows
are perfect.
The goatee.
I could pull off Mac. I can't pull off.
Can't pull off LaFleur.
LaFleur can't do it. So maybe I'll go get the hat.
LaFleur is one of one, anyways. I mean, there's no way to.
I'm wondering if I'm going to get some Matt LaFleur's tonight.
Maybe
it's possible.
All right, headset.
Yeah. We got a few lying around.
There we go. No, I mean the kids, but yeah.
Oh, the kids. Yeah. Well, we'll see. Oh, they've got those gaming headsets.
Yeah, that's true.
So I it's not that out of pocket to think that some of those kids might Just you got to have the red hanky for the challenge flag.
Oh yes, of course.
Have to have that. So I'm wondering what we're going to get today.
I wonder if they see another kid in a referee's outfit and just start screaming at him.
I hope so. That would be great.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
That would be fantastic. All right, we are just getting started. The NickLaylaw.com talking text line is open to you, 877-794-1973. Your favorite Halloween costume that you've ever had. And also, the over-under on Matt LaFleur's Friday news conference has been set at 3 minutes and 54 seconds. You going over? You going under? We'll ask Paul Brettel from ESPN Lacrosse, the Wisconsin State Journal, and NBC 26 if he's going over or under when we return as well. Stay with us. It's Friday morning into afternoon on Halloween day. Here on the game. Stay with us.
You just worry about how I got it. I keep hundreds and fifties all in my profit. My life a movie is sad. You gotta watch it.
You are listening to D.N.D. with Doug, Nick, and Dave.
This pains me to say this, but Dave's right.
Hey, why does that pain you to say? I'm right quite a bit, I think.
Middays here on the game. Spooky season is here. We're sports and Halloween stuff all day on the game.
You're not a scary movie guy coming up into Spooktober at the end of it?
Not my bag, not my thing. And I really question people that enjoy getting scared. I question it.
Wow.
You're telling me you're going out here and getting entertained by getting scared about stuff? I mean, I need some comic relief here. That doesn't sound like entertainment to me, but I have friends that love it.
Yeah.
This is the time of year we get together and watch all these crazy horror movies and Halloween movies. And
not liking scary movies, which I'm in the same boat as you.
Right.
I'm going to pass on them. It was tough, though, at a certain age because, like, you wanted to be like,
with
cool.
the girls with the girls. I get it.
Yeah, middle school, high school. Like, we're gonna go see Prom Night. I'm totally not scared to go see that.
I wasn't gonna cry in the corner.
Yeah, you can totally okay with what's happening right now.
You can open your eyes though.
The arms are just like shaking.
Gosh.
Happy Halloween from the game.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Elton John to reflect on a day in the life of writing and producing the Goodbye Yellow Brick Road album in France.
We all stayed at the Shadow in bedrooms, along with my producer, Gus Dudgeon, and Bernie, who wrote the lyrics. And I used to get up, and same time as Bernie, I went down to breakfast. Bernie would be typing, not Bernie Taupin. And he would give me a lyric. And I would have my breakfast, and I would have a croissant, and wander over to the electric piano. We had our instruments set up around the breakfast table, a guitar amp, a bass amp, and a drum kit, and the electric piano, and a mic. And I would sit down and write a song to those lyrics. Hence, then, could I'd wake the band up because I'd be playing and singing, and they'd come down and having their breakfast, or even before they started, they would join in, and we would write the song straight away. After we'd finished, we'd go straight over to the other side. Maybe you write two, but mostly one. Start the day off with a song, and go off to the other side of the courtyard to the studio and record the song, and then write in the studio.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Elton John and all your favorite artists.
Jordan Love and the Packers welcome the Carolina Panthers to Green Bay on Sunday.
I think we've learned that you can never look past any team. You got to take it 1 week at a time, and you got to be your best on Sunday. So I think we're going to have a great week of prep. I think that's the message that everyone's talking about. But, we got a good Panthers team who's been winning coming in, so we got to handle business.
D.N.D. is previewing every angle of Sunday's matchup on the game.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Elton John to talk about performing live.
Going on stage was when I could show off and be comfortable. And I was always a bit timid off stage. And the stage gave me an outlet. And you'll find that with many performers, whether they be dancers, actors, singers, musicians. They have the outlet on stage to become the person they're not off stage. And I think that's what eventually led to my troubles, along with the drugs and the drink, is that the person who was fast becoming popular as Elton John and becoming, the number one rock star in the world, had kind of escaped from the person off stage, and the balance was completely off kilter. And the more I became successful, the harder I worked, and the less time I concentrated on being normal or trying to be kind of normal. But people who knew me privately were shocked, I think, at what I was doing off stage. Rather, they knew what I was going to do on stage, but off stage they were shocked and disappointed.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Elton John and all your favorite artists.
iHeartRadio.
Here are the top Michael Jackson songs you've thumbed up. Number 3, The Way You Make Me Feel. Number 2, Beat It. Number 1, Billie Jean. Hear more from Michael Jackson and similar artists now. Search for Michael Jackson on iHeartRadio. All your favorite music, all your favorite stations, all free.
In the lab late one night, when my eyes beheld an eerie sight, for my monster from his
It's the Halloween edition of D.N.D. Welcome in. We've got one, by the way. Nick and Waukesha. D.N.D. is my new favorite show on the game.
Hey!
We've got one!
We've got one!
We've got one!
Let's go.
Oh, baby. It starts with one. It starts with Nick in Waukesha. Thank you, Nick. We appreciate that. We're big in Waukesha, you know.
Yeah, there we go. Famously. Big in Waukesha.
Go North Stars? I was a North Star.
Yeah.
So.
Makes sense.
Before they moved to Dallas?
Yes, I was a Minnesota North Star from Waukesha before they moved Waukesha North High School to
Dallas.
Welcome in. It's the Friday edition, the Halloween edition of D&D, as we are taking over-unders. We are taking your Halloween costumes. I wonder if, I doubt it, but I would love to see Matt LaFleur come out as like Vince Lombardi or something like that.
That'd be good.
Wouldn't that be fun? Joining us on the program right now, he is a multi-hyphenate. He joins us on Fridays from Green Bay. Paul Brettel from ESPN Lacrosse, Wisconsin State Journal, and NBC 26. Paul, appreciate the time. How are you today?
Excellent. Happy to be here, Doug.
Absolutely. So first of all, the over-under on Matt LaFleur's Friday news conference, I set it at 3 minutes and 54 seconds. We are taking over-unders. Do you have over, under, or right on the money?
That's a great question. I'm going to go with the over. As I'm thinking through this on the fly here, I feel like typically we might be in the 4-minute range. So that's where I'm going to hedge on the over today.
All right. He's hedging on the over. Also, did anyone take the bait on Halloween and dress in a Halloween costume at Lambeau Field? I would love to see LaFleur come out in something because Nick is dressed as the Dark Knight today.
Well, that's excellent. But no, not that I've seen so far, but I'll keep you guys posted.
All right. Okay. So that's the important stuff. Anyway, let's talk about the game coming up this weekend. It's the Packers and the Carolina Panthers. The first time, the second time in like 52 days that the Packers actually have a home game. But the last time that they were here, it was against Cincinnati. But they've been on a little bit of a roll on the road, 5-1-1 on the season. We've talked about the dreaded trap game, but Carolina's not a bad team. They're just 4-4. I feel like they're avoiding kind of the trap of being labeled as a trap game.
Yeah, I wrote about this recently. This isn't the same Panthers team from 2 years ago when they had 2 wins, and not even last year when they had 5 wins. I mean, this team is playing better football, and LaFleur on Wednesday was asked, or the question was started anyways, down the path of, do you see this being a trap game? And he cut the question off before it could be finished, saying that, no, we are focused on ourselves. We internally have plenty to improve on if we want to get to our ultimate goal, right? Playing your best football at the end of the season. And you have to think as well, just with how the season started, those 2 big wins against Detroit and Washington, going into the Cleveland game and obviously losing and not playing good football that week, that whether you want to classify that as a trap game or not, that was a very, very good learning opportunity. And since that game, we hear it routinely, whether it's from coaches, whether it's from players in the locker room, that it's all about going 1-0. And I know that's a common mantra, right, around the NFL focus on today. But I think that Cleveland game early on in the year really ingrained the importance of that and not looking ahead and being focused on who your opponent is, what you have to do prep-wise to best prepare to go play your best football. And I believe that's the approach that the Packers are taking.
Paul has already indicated I'm dressed up as Batman today. If we could kind of extrapolate that Batman idea out to this Packers group, who is Batman, who's Robin, and who's Alfred in regards to importance to this team to get into the level that they need to get to?
Gosh, that's a great question. And I'm going to cheat a little bit here. Can we have like a Batman and a Superman? Because you look at what's made this Packers team go, and offensively, it's
I don't like that guy.
I mean, of course. Of course, naturally, that comes with the quarterback position, right? But he is playing at a very, very high level, and that's we saw, I think, the peak of that this season Sunday against the Steelers. But throughout the year, he's been playing some really good football, and not just the numbers, not just post snap, but his operation pre snap, getting in and out of the huddle as a play. I mean, that Steelers game, you go look back, there were a number of key plays where you can see him orchestrating things, canning plays, moving guys around before the snap. I mean, it feels like there's just this next level understanding of not just obviously his own offense, but how opposing defenses want to defend him. And again, playing at a really high level. Then you go to the defensive side of the ball. Micah Parsons. I mean, obviously his ability to get after the quarterback is well documented. We see it each and every week, but he's a force multiplier. The chips he takes on from tight ends, the double teams, the triple teams. I mean, it's not a coincidence, in my opinion, that you see Rashawn Gary having the production that he's having, or Devontae Wyatt was among the pressure leaders at the defensive tackle position before his injury against Dallas. Like, the attention that Parsons draws makes everyone around him so much better. So those two, one on each side of the ball, I think are what are making this go for Green Bay.
Paul, Quay Walker was not on the initial injury report on Wednesday. Then all of a sudden on Thursday, he does not practice with a calf injury. How concerned are you? How concerned should we be about Quay Walker popping up with an injury?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I'd have a better answer for you after about 10:55 when we first see LaFleur. We haven't had the chance to speak to anyone since that, or to LaFleur, I should say, since we found out about that injury. But I think anytime, and LaFleur is probably going to reiterate something close to this, anytime a player pops up on the injury report, they're a non-participant late in the week, it's certainly going to be worth monitoring. And Jeff Hafley has not just said that Quay Walker, is playing good football. He's playing elite football right now. And I think a big part of that is everything that goes into the Mike linebacker responsibilities, wearing that green dot, his understanding of the defense and getting everyone set pre-snap, making the adjustments. Again, it's just similarly to what I mentioned with Love, his next level understanding of what do we want to do, but also how is the opponent going to attack us, and making sure that everyone around you is set properly to be in the best position possible. So if they are without him, obviously that's going to be a significant loss. We still have to, again, learn more today about what his status might be. But if they are, I think that someone they could turn to, obviously, is either Isaiah McDuffie or Tyron Hopper.
How much more wide open is the Packers offense with Christian Watson in the lineup?
I think a ton. I know LaFleur was asked that earlier in the week. Like, do you see defenses playing you guys differently with him out there? He didn't say there was necessarily on tape there's this massive change, but I also don't think it's a coincidence that Watson's first game back, right? Tucker Kraft has this massive game, and Tucker Kraft's like obviously one of the top tight ends in the league and capable of that level of production. But when you have Watson speed on the field, his gravity, it's going to create more spacing. That's just part of it. Defenses are going to protect against that downfield presence. But what LaFleur, Stenovich, other offensive coaches keep harping on as well is he is so much more to this offense than just speed and a downfield presence. LaFleur's talked about how much added flexibility the offense gained when Christian Watson is out there because of his ability to line up at any of the wide receiver positions, because he can attack not just the downfield, but each level of the field, and do so in a variety of ways as a route runner. And then his run blocking ability. I mean, he threw a key block on that 16-yard touchdown, catch and run touchdown from Tucker Kraft last week. He threw a nice block on Josh Jacobs' 3-yard touchdown run to the right pylon as well. Like, he's not just a capable run blocker. He is a really good run blocker in this offense. So when you have that do-it-all presence and you combine that with his size, his speed, there's a gravity about him. Defenses have to know where he is at all times. And then naturally, there's just going to be a trickle-down effect, and that's going to provide some advantageous matchups for others in the offense.
Paul, looking at this one-loss Packers team, and yeah, it's the same guy doing the Batman voice. I just wanted to take a break here. Paul, when you look at this Packers team, they've one loss, but I don't think they're treated like that. I don't think they're talked about it like that. Like, this is just a team that has fallen short one time, albeit there's a tie in there. Do you think they get enough attention?
I think they're definitely flying under the radar a little bit. And that game against Cleveland, right, the tie game against Dallas, like you mentioned, like, that's going to be a part of it. But I think also I think in the grand scheme of an NFL season, this is a good thing, but they have not put together a complete game, right? There's still stretches of games where you're kind of scratching your head going, all right, when are things going to start clicking? When are they going to take off? And for the most part, they eventually do, but there's still these, whether it's a quarter or whether it's a first half, like it was Sunday for the offense, and just not putting points on the board, we still haven't seen that complete performance from this group. And I say that's a good thing because, like I mentioned earlier, and LaFleur has said this, I remember Brian Gutekunst saying this last season at the trade deadline, you want to be playing your best football by the end of the season. And the fact that the Packers are still finding ways to win, oftentimes doing so in pretty convincing fashion. Like, they have a number of double-digit wins this season. That still tells us how much room for growth this group has. Now, it's up to them to improve, to capitalize on those area of opportunities. Obviously, it's not a given that they're going to continue to ascend, but they're 5-1-1. We've seen on both sides of the ball some elite stretches of football. And the fact that you still say, well, they haven't played a complete game yet, tells you the potential that this group has. Now it's about unlocking it.
Paul, I know it's everyone's favorite subject, but the kicking situation, Brandon McManus still dealing a little bit with that quad issue. Lucas Haversick still there. McManus played last week, but coming off a little bit of a shaky performance. What's your feel on where the Packers might go again this week?
I think McManus is going to be out there. We talked to Rich Bisaccia yesterday, and he said that McManus on Wednesday, which is his normal kicking day, had a really good practice. He's feeling good. So I think they're going to continue to go with McManus at this point. I think once they made that decision pregame this past Sunday, that they had gotten to the point where they were confident that, you know, there isn't a significant risk of there being a setback. And I think that was kind of what was maybe lingering right in the back of everyone's head the previous 2 weeks when it came to making these decisions. But I assume that since he was out there Sunday, had a good practice Wednesday, as Bisaccia said, that he's going to be the guy moving forward.
So is Haversick then just going to be on the trading block, or is there even a market for a kicker, even for a 6th or 7th round flyer? Because there are a couple of teams that need a kicker.
Yeah, I mean, I have to think in part, right, you're maybe getting through this week to just confirm, okay, McManus is fully healthy and good to go, which, like I said, I think that's the direction things are heading. But you also have to think as well, with the trade deadline just next Tuesday, why not roster him for a few more days just to see, right? Just see if there's any teams out there that might be interested. We've seen around the NFL, not just this season, but it feels like especially the last several seasons, that teams are more willing to make changes at the kicker position if things are not going well. And I think that is potential leverage for the Green Bay Packers as they look at the NFL landscape right now, just to see maybe could we get something extra. And then if the trade deadline passes, you're going to assume release Haversick at that point, assuming McManus is fully healthy. And then who knows, maybe see if you can get him back on the practice squad. But he has earned himself some opportunities elsewhere. We'll just have to see where those come.
He is Paul Brettel. You can read his work in the Wisconsin State Journal. You can watch him in Green Bay on NBC 26, also ESPN Lacrosse. Paul, we appreciate the time and the insight so much. We'll see you on Sunday.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, there he goes. Paul Brettel joining us. He's got the over, by the way. I set the over under at 3 minutes and 54 seconds for Matt LaFleur's news conference. We will bring that to you coming up right after we talk to Bill Schmidt in the No BS Zone in the 11 o'clock hour. But we're going to talk some hockey coming up next.
Ooh,
Brian Posick, the voice of the Wisconsin men's hockey team, will join us, and the host of the Wisconsin Hockey Hour as well. It's so much better when it seems like an obvious statement, but when men's hockey, women's hockey is always gold standard in college athletics, but when the men's team is humming along as well, Madison it's a really good hockey town. It's a really, really good hockey town. Brian Posick is going to join us coming up straight ahead. It's D.N.D, Doug, Nick, and Dave here on The Game.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
I like him even more.
Just search 97.3 The Game. Trick or treat, we're sports and Halloween stuff all day on The Game.
You buying or selling the idea that you'll see more costumes out on Friday night this week when, for me and for my money, and Hunter, you probably can attest, young people get after it. Halloween was last weekend for most, like Halloween parties at houses and stuff. Friday night is actually Halloween, but seems like it's already done. Trick-or-treating's been done.
I didn't totally understand because Halloween is on a Friday night this year. So and all the trick-or-treating was last. I'm like,
really? Ours is always on Halloween.
As it should be.
In most communities, it was last weekend.
Okay,
like
that's my
Sunday.
buy or sell.
Yeah.
Do you buy or sell trick-or-treating on not Halloween? Unless it's maybe, the 31st is a Monday or something,
if it's
right?
a Wednesday
and then
or
the
something.
30th maybe. But you were trick-or-treating on what would have been the 25th or 26th? Come on now.
That's pre-trick-or-treat. You can't pre-treat.
Right.
Happy Halloween from all of us at The Game. Billy and Armin are talking about all of your favorite teams each morning from 6 to 10 on The Game.
920 said, love the content, boys, but can we all agree that Keyshawn Nixon is not a number one corner?
Our cornerback unit, Billy, as a whole, might not be the greatest. I don't think we're going to ever sit around saying this was the best cornerback unit, the position group this Packers team ever had. They do battle out there. They did have some moments where we struggled, but also in a league like this, where there's a lot of passing, that means there's going to be a lot of completions, and a lot of guys are going to be the recipient of a lot of L's, and the receivers.
They're going to hold a lot. Yes, no doubt. You're spot on, Armin, and you could not be more accurate here. And I think corner in the National Football League, I get it. Quarterback is the most important position, toughest position, all the mental stuff that you got to go through. From a physically demanding and emotionally testing and trying position, corner is the hardest position to play in the NFL.
Yes.
You are going up against and trying to break up the most expensive pairings in professional sports. Despite the sport, they're going to beat you a number of different times.
Yeah.
So you're going to give up completions, no doubt about it. Now, the one to Roman Wilson, that's a big miss. We can't be letting Roman Wilson get behind us and not know where we are.
Oh, yeah.
That's the issue. But I think on the down in and down out compete factor, the touchdown to DK Metcalf, what are you supposed to do?
He's a big old boy.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search No BS on the iHeartRadio app.
Now, a year in rock spotlight from 1977.
September of 77, American duo Steely Dan released their sixth album, Asia. It goes to number 3 in the States on the strength of 2 top 20 hits, Peg and Deacon Blues. In October, the major label debut album by Meatloaf is released. Hits number 14 in the U.S. and goes on to be one of the best-selling albums of all time. Leonard Skinner released the album Street Survivor. 3 days later, singer Ronnie Van Zant and 2 other band members were killed in a plane crash. The album goes to number 5 in the States, and the single What's Your Name hits number 13.
What's your name, little girl? What's your name?
In November, Eric Clapton's Slow Hand is released. It goes to number 2, driven by 3 hit singles, Cocaine, Wonderful Tonight, and Lay Down Sally.
Lay down, Sally, and rest you in my arms. Don't you think you want someone to talk to?
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1977, coming up.
It's D.N.D, Doug, Nick, and Dave. Doug Russell, Nick Briswitz, and Dave Gasper. Halloween Friday, October 31st, 2025. Talk some hockey, shall we? Christian Fitzgerald, the hat trick, the Badgers beating Minnesota, a team that's kind of had their number over the last couple of seasons. Joining us on the program right now, he was the man on the call on our sister station.
It'd be called a bat trick if I did it.
Nick Briswitz got into the spirit of Halloween today, and he is a fan. Joining us on the program, he is the esteemed voice of the Wisconsin men's hockey team, also the host of the Wisconsin Hockey Hour. He was on the call last night on 1310 WIBA. 5-2, the final score, Wisconsin defeating Minnesota. We say good morning to Brian Posick. Hi, Brian. How are you today?
Hi, Doug. Hi, Dave. Hi, Mr. Wayne. How are you guys?
We're good. I don't know if we're as good as Christian Fitzgerald hat trick last night. Wisconsin knocks off Minnesota. That must have been a fun game to call last night at the Kohl Center.
Yeah, as you mentioned, Minnesota's had Wisconsin's number. They swept the regular season series last year, and Wisconsin lost here twice, 3-2, 3-2 in overtime at the Kohl Center last November. So, yeah, it's Minnesota's, unfortunately for Bob Motzko, who's a nice guy and a good coach, the Gophers are down. If you're a Badger fan, you're not saying unfortunately the Gophers down, but they're still a work in progress. And Wisconsin played well, probably its best game so far against maybe the best competition they'll face. Minnesota State was pretty good, but the best competition they faced so far. And Christian Fitzgerald had a night. Second hat trick of the year. Second hat trick in a 6-game span.
Incredible.
It's only two others had two hat tricks in a single season over the last 30 years. One was Brad Engelhart. I'm not sure if some of the young fans remember him. Pretty good forward back in the 90s. And then Cole Caulfield. A lot of people have heard of him.
Yeah, I heard of him.
But But actually, Fitzgerald has scored more goals through 7 games this season than he scored all of last season as a junior. So he's off to a hot start for sure. And so are the Badgers. Unbeaten, 5-0-2. That's pretty good.
How about that, Brian? And I know last year the conversation was centered around goalie with losing what you lost the year before and seeing the lack of production there last year. How have things changed this year with Hauser and Castro in the net?
Yeah, Daniel Hauser, the freshman, came from the Western Hockey League, major juniors, college hockey allowed to recruit major junior players for the first time ever. And he came down here and he took the number 1 job, and he's been fantastic. He's top 10 in goals against and save percentage in the country. Didn't face a lot of shots last night because Wisconsin defensively, from the guys in front of Hauser, have been really good. Wisconsin's one of the top teams in the nation as far as goals against are concerned. Hauser's been good. It's a calming influence on the rest of the team. Yes, goaltending was an issue last year, Mr. Wayne, but so is scoring. Quite honestly, they weren't putting the puck away, and here they're averaging 4 goals a game. They have more talent, they have more speed, more skill. This is a team that can beat you with defense, but it looks like they've got some scoring punch too.
Yeah, and this is a team that just seems to be on a roll here with Mike Hastings at the helm. Just kind of once the Badgers brought in Hastings to take over, how have you seen this program progress in his tenure?
Well, initially, he burst onto the scene his first year, and they win 26 games and get to the NCAA tournament for only the second time in 9 years. And they took Michigan State down to the wire for the Big Ten title. And then last year, they won half as many games because they didn't score enough and they couldn't keep the puck out of their net. So it was really good and then not so good. So now he's trying to build it back up. But, they've worked towards this season and beyond since they got here. There was some transition that needed to take place and departures and bring in some new kids. There's only a handful of guys still left from Mike's first year because of the rotating nature of college hockey and rosters. So it looks like they're on an uptick. Obviously he wants to make this a consistent winner, a consistent contender, not only in the Big Ten and nationally. And we saw it his first year, not so much last year, but maybe they're back on track now.
Brian Posick, the voice of the Wisconsin men's hockey team, joining us here on D.N.D. Doug, Nick, and Dave, also the host of the Wisconsin Hockey Hour. All right, you've got an off day, which is a little bit weird. It's unusual to have a Friday day off in between games, but we've talked about the concept of the trap game as it concerns the Packers this week. They've got Carolina, then they've got Philadelphia coming up next week, Monday. You look ahead to the schedule, you still have Michigan, then it's Ohio State, then Michigan State. I mean, I'm not saying that they would ever look past Minnesota because they're a rival, and I get that, but that schedule just gets gnarly coming up.
Yeah, the Big Ten is really good this season, probably the best conference in the country. Michigan leads the country in scoring, almost 6 goals per game. Penn State, which we'll see them 4 times in the second half of the season, they're top 3 in scoring, and they're off to a 9-1 start. Ohio State's playing Penn State this weekend. Buckeyes were up 2-0 in the first yesterday, and then took a bunch of penalties and lost 3-2. They play again tonight. And actually, I don't really have an off day because I'm going to be doing the Ohio State-Penn State game streaming on Big Ten Plus from a plush studio in Wanakee at Rush Media. So I'll be watching Ohio State-Penn State with Bill Brophy on Big Ten Plus tonight, calling that game. So
nice.
Yeah, I know. I'll bring a bunch of candy with me too, since it's Halloween.
Make sure you plan your stop at Red and White Wine Bar for after the game, because things could get messy on Big Ten Plus otherwise.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea, Bruce.
Not a bad idea. And Butchie was a good bartender last night there. So, I mean,
was he?
You'll have to follow a tough act.
Awesome.
I saw that. Yeah, Butchie. Yeah, exactly. You know, I mean, Michigan State's the odds-on favorite to win the league, even though Penn State is stacked. They brought in the likely number 1 pick in the 2026 NHL draft, and Gavin McKenny. He's 17 years old. He is so much fun to watch, although that's a stacked lineup. Penn State, though, they have an All-American named Aiden Fink, who actually originally committed to Wisconsin. Was a 50-point scorer a year ago. He got hurt last night and is unavailable tonight. They can't afford to lose Aiden Fink for an extended period of time. But, you know, again, Penn State, Michigan State, I think are the best teams, and Michigan in the league. Wisconsin is, I would assume, fighting in the middle of the pack because they're still pretty young.
Brian, to switch sports and look at the women's side of action, this is a juggernaut annually, and it just feels like Mark Johnson's squad is full speed ahead as it stands now. They get Minnesota as well. And I can't speak to it. How unique is it that both teams have Minnesota in the same place on the same weekend?
It's only happened a few times over the years. And what's fun, too, is at the end of January 30th and 31st, Wisconsin's men's and women's teams will go to Minneapolis to play Minnesota at Mariucci and Ritter Arena. And actually, they'll play 4 games in 2 days there. Here, they're playing 4 games over a 3-day span. It's unique for sure. Minnesota's better. I wouldn't say the Gophers are down or were down over the last few years because they've been ranked in the top 5 nationally every single year. They just haven't won a national championship, it seems like, in a decade. And Wisconsin's won 10 in a row from the Gophers on the women's side. So, but Mark Johnson's club, they're good, talented. There's no question about it. Olympic caliber players. They're also going through a litany of injuries to some of those Olympic caliber players. And I'm not sure what their lineup will look like tonight or tomorrow against Minnesota at LeBron Arena.
Yeah, but Brian, I imagine if they have Claire Enright in there, they're going to be feeling pretty good. I mean, she scored both games against Mankato and earned Forward of the Week for the WCHA. It just seems like every single year with this, Mark Johnson-led team, even when you have the great players that graduate, there is someone else ready to step up and take over that kind of role. And Claire Enright seems like she's that person this year.
Yeah, she moved up to the top line. This is an Olympic year, so Mark's going to lose a handful of players to the Olympics, not only for Team USA, but also for the Czechia national team. Adela Shapovalivova, freshman, she's only 18 years old. She's going to be going and playing for Czechia in the Olympics in February in Italy. So throughout the year, they're going to be missing those players as they go to training camps, if you will, preseason or pre-Olympic training. So he's finding people that can step up, and Claire was one of them. Scored her first 2 goals of the year, a senior that needed to be moved to the top line out of necessity with Kirsten Sims out, and she came through. And, that's what you need. Any good team needs that. If Charles Woodson goes out in the Super Bowl, who's going to fill in for him? We need somebody in that role, or whatever the case may be. This team is the best team in the country when it's healthy. If these injuries persist, then I would say Ohio State and Minnesota will be right there, like they will anyway at the end of the year.
Brian Posick for just a couple more minutes here on D.N.D. on this Friday, October 31st. Kind of a bigger picture question. I mean, nobody's rooting for, the struggles that the football program has had this year by any stretch of the imagination. But, when the hockey teams, plural, are both playing well, man, Madison is such a cool hockey town. And to give the fans really something tangible to root for, especially given some of the struggles that we see over at Camp Randall, I just got to think that the atmosphere at the Kohl Center is just going to keep getting better and better all year long.
Yeah, you would think so. And Greg Gard is expected to have a good basketball team. The women's basketball team with the change in the coaching position. So there's some curiosity there that may draw more fans to the Kohl Center. Obviously, volleyball is been a big hit for a long time, thanks to Kelly Sheffield and the job he and his staff have done with that program. Last night it's a Thursday night game because of television. It's an 8:00 face-off. So weeknight, 8:00 face-off, and it's on television. Badgers are on the Big Ten Network only 4 times, the Badger men I'm speaking of. And on top of that, the game times for this series didn't come out, 4-6 weeks ago at the most. So it was hard for people to plan. Last night's attendance was announced at 7,000 in a 15,000-seat arena. It's Wisconsin and Minnesota playing hockey. It's also late October. I used to let this stuff really bother me. Rob Andringa, though, told me one time, it's October, it's football season, what have you. There are other things you can do before winter comes and, people will be happy to go to the rink. But I would assume tomorrow night for the series finale, the day after Halloween, it'll be packed. It'll be hopping. The Kohl Center will be a great place to be tomorrow night if you're looking for something to do.
Without a doubt. He is Brian Posick, the voice of the men's Badgers hockey team, also the host of the Wisconsin Hockey Hour. Coming up tomorrow night, it will be the series finale, a 6 p.m. face-off pregame on 1310 WIBA in Madison and around the state on the Badger Sports Network at 5:30. The Badgers taking on the Minnesota Golden Gophers at the Kohl Center. Brian, we appreciate the time so much. Have a great call again tomorrow. Have a great call tonight.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you again next week.
Yeah. Do the Blue Jays finish it off tonight?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I think they've just got so much momentum. They've got so much momentum.
Yeah,
I think flying right now that in their direction.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it go Game 7 though, and then have the Dodgers lose. Yes, I would like to have total heartbreak for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
That would be.
And I felt that way since I was a young Reds fan back in 1971 when I first started following the Big Red Machine. Cannot stand the Dodgers. God.
And the Big Red Machine was the last team in the National League to win back-to-back World Series. So
correct. Yes.
Got to keep that going.
Yes.
For young Brian Posick.
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Oh, Canada. Let's go.
There it is.
Thanks, Brian.
See you guys.
Brian Posick. Oh, Canada. Yes, indeed. So the Stanley Cup will reside in the United States and the Commissioner's Trophy will reside in Canada. Up and down.
Great.
Mass hysteria, cats and dogs living together, all the things. All right, we are 1 hour down. We've got 3 hours to go. Bill Schmidt is going to join us in the No BS zone coming up straight ahead. We'll hit the talk and text line as well. And we're going over under on how long the head coach of the Packers, Matt LaFleur, is going to go in his morning news conference on Friday. It usually doesn't go very long. I've set the over under at 354. You can go over, you can go under. There's no peer pressure to go either way. It's just kind of interesting to see exactly how long he's going to go. But Bill Schmidt coming up straight ahead in the No BS zone. We'll also hear from Micah Parsons in the next hour as well. And the voice of the men's basketball program and the football team at the University of Wisconsin, Matt LePay, is going to join us coming up less than an hour from now as well. We've got a stacked Friday show. We are flying high into the weekend, and we're flying high into the month of November as well. It's Doug Russell, Nick Bruzewitz, Dave Gasper. We call ourselves D&D on the game.
Season is here. We're sports and Halloween stuff all day on the game.
Matt Miller joining us here, a man about film, where you follow him on all social medias and follow the Substack, subscribe to the Substack.
I'm not a big horror movie guy. I'm not a big Halloween movie guy. Billy, we talked about this earlier in the week. I don't think getting scared is great entertainment, but to each their own. All right. I don't know where you feel in general on the genre. Is it one of your favorite genres?
Yeah, I like horror a lot, especially right now. It's kind of where the most original stuff is being made, because as the rest of Hollywood gets really kind of IP crazy and gets really scared of original risks in other genres, and we've lost kind of the adult drama. Horror is kind of one of the few places that studios feel comfortable being like, yeah, let's do an original story here. Yeah, let's push some buttons in this area. Like let's do some weird visual stuff. Let's have some fun. So that's kind of made horror this exciting genre right now. And it's always kind of been the scrappy genre. There's a reason why when wannabe filmmakers, want to make their first movie in college or whatever, they make horror movies. You can make them on the cheap and make something that is kind of fun and kind of, impressive in its low budget way. It's harder to do that with, a very serious drama.
Happy Halloween from all of us at the game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1978.
In January of 1978, the Saturday Night Fever soundtrack is released featuring the music of the Bee Gees. It hits number one in the U.S. for more than 6 months. An amazing 18 weeks at number one in the UK, it becomes the best-selling soundtrack album of all time. In February of 78, Pasadena, California hard rock band Van Halen released their self-titled debut album. It hits number 19 on the charts. Their cover of The Kinks' You Really Got Me cracks the top 40 at number 36. In March, the Patti Smith Group released their third album, Easter. It goes to number 20. Their single, Because the Night, goes to number 13. It was co-written with Bruce Springsteen. In May of 78, Detroit rock singer Bob Seger releases his 10th album, Stranger in Town. It goes to number 4 in the U.S., yielding 3 top 20 singles, including Still the Same, which also goes to number 4.
Are you still the same?
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1978, coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1975.
In September, the Isley Brothers have a number one album, The Heat Is On, driven by the number 4 single, Fight the Power. Alive is a 2-record live album that goes to number 9 for Kiss. They released the single Rock and Roll All Night, which goes to number 12. David Bowie switches to Philly Soul on the LP Young Americans, featuring the number 1 single Fame, which was co-written by John Lennon. UK rock band Foghat have a top 20 hit with Slow Ride from the album Fool for the City. In October of 75, Pink Floyd released their follow-up to Dark Side of the Moon. Wish You Were Here goes to number 1 in the US and the UK.
What have we found? Same old fears. Wish you were here.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1975, coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1974.
In April, Diamond Dogs is a number 1 album in the UK for David Bowie. It goes to number 5 in the US.
Rebel, rebel, you torn your dress. Rebel, rebel, your face is a mess. Rebel, rebel, how could they know? Hot tramp, I love you so.
In June of 1974, Chicago funk band Rufus, featuring lead singer Shaka Khan, score a number 3 hit with Tell Me Something Good. UK supergroup Bad Company have a number 1 album and a top 5 single, Can't Get Enough.
I can't get enough, enough of your love. I can't get enough, enough of your love. I can't get enough of your love. Yeah, this one, this one. Whoa.
And Dutch hard rock band Golden Earring have a number 13 hit with the single Radar Love.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1974, coming up.
Your attention, please. We are the gang and the home of D.N.D. with Doug, Nick, and Dave. Weekdays from 10 to 2, live 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app. Watch the show on YouTube, Facebook, and X by searching 97.3 The Game.
Hour number 2, D.N.D. Doug Russell, Nick Rusowitz, Dave Gasper on this Halloween Friday morning here in the good land. The talking text line is bumping as always. And Billy Schmidt joins us here from the No BS Morning Show, as well as Packers OT alongside Drew Olson. And I got to tell you, Billy, we got a fan. We got Nick in Waukesha says that D&D is his new favorite show.
Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. Well, he's not the only one. It's my favorite show as well.
Got one. Oh, there you go. I love that.
That's 2. And we got 3. Randcorp in here says, damn, the other dude beat me to it. I've been very skeptical during the intro of this new show, as is my nature. But damn, you guys are all right. Now officially my favorite show on the game also.
Hey, yeah, you guys actually aren't terrible.
You're not terrible, despite that crappy intro that Doug put together. I'll freshen it up, okay?
What a great way of saying, you know what? These guys aren't actually half bad. I thought this show was going to be cheeks, and it's actually not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be.
I expected you to suck, but you're not
But you're not that bad.
You're not that bad.
I had heard that a lot. Also, that was generally my that was going to be my take on the dating apps. I was like, hey, might not be that bad.
Right.
Might not be that bad.
You can find someone decent on there, maybe every once in a while.
Every once in a while.
Now and then.
Yeah, every once in a while.
Yeah.
Dave might know.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. You go through some clunkers first before you get there.
Listen, they say you got to kiss some frogs.
Yeah, 100%. Or some Batman.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Or Catwomen. Nice job.
I'm Batman.
Yeah.
Nice job, Nick.
So-
So I'm proud of you.
Thank
Now,
you.
which Batman would you be? Because Doug,
Dark Knight.
well, I mean,
I would. For me, it's Adam West.
yeah, I was gonna say, what age do you think, or what version of Batman do you think Nick's actually seen?
I've got to find a picture of me in my Batman costume from when I was like 8.
That's a good one. Everybody ends up being that. There's a pumpkin. Generally, everyone ends up being
Yeah.
a Dalmatian. At some point, you end up being Batman. It's a good look, Nick. I'm proud of you. I'm also proud of you for committing to the bit and keeping it on throughout with the headphones on over the top. Because Armin and I were going through that today when he put the leather helmet on. I was like, well, here's the thing. You can't not wear it then throughout.
Yeah.
And he's like, I just can't wear the earbuds. A lot of people in our business will end up going earbuds over the year, just the way he's been for 20 years.
Right.
So listen, you
There
got to
are
commit
no
to the
ear
bit, and I'm
holes.
proud of you for that.
This is straight plastic, straight rubber. There are no ear holes. So I just got my headphones turned up really high.
Okay.
Well,
We're not getting any feedback, so I'm proud of you for doing
I
that.
appreciate that.
It's called committing to the bit.
That is
Love it.
committing to the bit, and that's battling. And we're really, really proud of you for playing that way.
Yeah.
1 hour in.
Well done.
Especially
We'll
a
see how long I
4-hour
last.
show. You know,
We'll see how
we'll
long
see what
I
happens when we
last,
get
but-
to hour 4.
I dressed up as Dave asked me if I ended up doing anything for my costume, Doug. I apologize for not. However, I did dress up as freshman year of college, Billy,
Okay.
because my wife
nice.
has been in on me trying to clean out my closet.
Mm.
Because my closet
So-
looks like it throws up.
Yeah, my closet's really bad too, but the shelf collapsed. So now all of the stuff that was on the shelf that collapsed because there was so much crap on it is now in our spare bedroom.
Oh, see, mine is all on the floor because I lost one of the racks, right? The shelf didn't collapse.
Yeah.
It was just one of the bars.
Yeah.
Just snapped right in
Yeah,
half.
that's what happened.
Yeah, so it's all over the place. And she's like, we need to clean that stuff out. Awesome. Haven't seen this sweatshirt in 2 years. I was so excited. I opened it up like it was Christmas morning. I'm like, gosh, I finally found it.
I thought I lost.
It's like
this
I've been
thing.
trying to get
wardrobe.
rid of that one for quite some time, but no, this old school Pio Pete is going to make a reappearance, and after a dozen years, so I dressed up as a wide-eyed 19-year-old
There you go. I like that.
with a lot more facial hair than I had at that
Well,
particular point.
that's okay.
Yeah.
It is the No BS Zone with Bill Schmidt. Of course, as I mentioned, he and Armin Sarian hold down morning 6 until 10 on the No BS Morning Show on the Game Radio Network, and then on the Packers Radio Network, Packers OT alongside Drew Olson. So the concept of the trap game, we've talked about it a lot this week. Carolina's not terrible. They're 4-4.
Yeah, not terrible. And I think the difference in the trap game for this one would be the spot of it, right? This is a tough spot to play where the emotion of last week, I think, is somewhat undervalued for how emotional that game was, Doug, and how big of a game it was for the Packers, albeit with 10 or 11 guys that played with Aaron Rodgers on the team. I think the young team took that as an opportunity to make a statement of a new guard and a new team is in town. There's a new sheriff in town, and we like Pookie.
Everybody loves
Pookie. And Officer
right, yeah.
Pookie is now in charge, and he is going to be able to take over that throne. So I think they took a lot of personal satisfaction in that game, where it wouldn't necessarily be just overlooking Carolina into next week, which is my favorite matchup on the year, Monday night against the Eagles, reigning defending Super Bowl champions. But emotional game last week, hugely emotional game next week, and a Carolina team that, albeit I don't know that you're going to overlook, I think is maybe better and younger and hungrier than a lot of people will understand, right? This is a second-year head coach in Canales, a third-year quarterback in Bryce Young, who started to figure it out a little bit last year. He's coming off an injury, most likely going to play. I didn't necessarily think he was going to be ready to go, but when Andy Dalton looked as cheeks as he was a week ago, I think they said, let's figure out how that ankle can be a little bit better for you coming up next week. And they're a better football team than anybody will give them credit for. They really can run the ball well in Carolina. So I don't necessarily know, Doug, that a trap would be because the Packers are overlooking. Just hard to have that same emotional crescendo and that consistency week in and week out. That's something that the Packers definitely have to learn if they're going to be one of the favorites to win it.
Billy, if you look at that backfield, it seems at this point Carolina is finally wrapping their heads around the fact that Rico Dowdle is kind of that guy. This is probably the best two-headed monster that they have seen this year so far. When the Steelers went to the run with Jaylen Warren last week, it wasn't necessarily unproductive. Where do you see the Panthers causing the most trouble for the Packers?
I think it would definitely be on the ground there, Nick, and I think you're onto something. The way that the Steelers were able to control the ground game in the first half, the recipe for the Panthers to make this game competitive and make it a four-quarter game and have a chance to steal it would be a lot on that. Now, I do think a lot of what the Steelers were doing on the ground game, I don't know is super replicable around the NFL, because I don't know a whole lot of teams have a 300-pound dominating blocking tight end in Washington and are committed enough to bring the beef to the line of scrimmage like the Steelers were doing with the extra tackle eligible for the majority of the time in that first half. So I don't know that the same way they'd be able to control it on the ground, but Dowdle's been phenomenal. And, hand raised in air when he had the big game against the Cowboys, where I think he put up 200 and a couple of touchdowns. I was like, all right, sweet revenge game. Good moment. Back to being Rico Dowdle. Instead, on a one-year deal, he's up there. I think he's top 5 in the league in rushing, and he's been phenomenal for them. But they also have a nice young offensive line. One of the other reasons why Bryce Young's playing a little bit better, because they're protecting him quite a bit better.
Billy, let's talk some offensive line here.
Let's do that. Yeah.
Because last week you get to see Zach Tom come back. You get to see maybe a little bit more consistency with that group, and they had a pretty good game keeping Jordan Love upright, but you got Zach Tom still limited, Aaron Banks still limited in practice, Jordan Morgan now showing up on the injured list. Just what's your sense of how the offensive line has kind of gotten some consistency and gotten better as they've gotten healthier here over the last couple of weeks?
Well, I think you hit it on the head there, Dave, that the play comes with the consistency on the unit and who's going to be available. They were far too inconsistent on availability to start, where you're going to be able to grow any form of cohesion up there. And we talked about it a little bit earlier on in the week on the morning show. And I can't remember exactly what day it was, but it's one of those where you start realizing the play is going to be down for the first number of weeks. So you heard Josh Jacobs say it to you guys after the game, Doug, a couple of weeks ago, right? Where he's like, I think it takes till about week 5 or 6 for your ground game to actually establish. And it's not just a first 4 weeks are somewhat preseason for everybody in the NFL. But I think especially at that spot, there's so few opportunities for you to play together during the preseason.
Yeah.
And to have training camp. And I think it was it was the conversation with Nags on Carry the G. And he had mentioned of Mike Holmgren at some particular point in time, kind of just abandoned the run and said, we're going to throw to set up the run. He made that decision right around week 5 or 6. I think you got to make that decision around week 11 or 12 now, where you have to really allow your guys to play alongside each other, figure out how each other are going to play, because there's just not that much time on the grass during camp to figure out so much of that cohesion. So them being together, them being pretty whole into the best
5 out on the field, like Matt LaFleur will always say. For them, it's kind of 5.5 as they rotate with Morgan and Ryan as much as possible. But I think that's where you'll start to see a lot more consistency on the ground. But let's call it what it is. The way they're protecting Jordan Love has been one of the big reasons why Jordan Love has been able to attack defenses intermediate range and down the field. When he has time, he's always looking for the deep shot. And I think that's maybe where they've been best over the last couple of weeks.
Well, now he's got Christian Watson back, and that I think opens up a lot of things to allow him to try the deep shot. We saw that last week as well. The no, yes, what Matt LaFleur talked about earlier in the week. But, another one of the themes this week has been, and everybody has their own definition of what elite is. I say, in my definition, do you have MVP votes? Do you have multiple playoff wins? Do you have that resume? Jordan Love doesn't have that yet. He's got the one playoff win in Dallas. I think that he's on the cusp of being elite. How do you judge him against some of the other quarterbacks in the NFL? Certainly had an elite second half against the Steelers last week.
Yeah.
And has had some elite moments. To me, he's not quite there yet, but he's just on the cusp.
Well, and I think there's a bunch of different, it's such a subjective term because like some people will say there's about 3 elite quarterbacks in the game or 4, and one of them's not playing right now. And that being Burrow, Lamar, Josh, and Patrick, because I think they play the sport at such a different level than just about everybody else. Mm-hmm. But into that second tier, there's the Matthew Staffords who have been phenomenal, and he's a Hall of Famer,
Absolutely,
right? Like
100%.
Then there's different guys of like, a Russell Wilson at some particular point in his career didn't get MVP votes, won a lot of playoff games, albeit tried to throw them out of a bunch of different playoff games.
Including a Super Bowl
like
once.
When they were playing well and when he was playing his best, hard to say there were a lot of players at the sport when they were at their best better than him. I think that's the category I put Jordan in right now, where when he is playing his best, there's not many that are better, right? Maybe 15, maybe Josh. And Lamar last night, he showed that he can absolutely do it, and he's going to do a lot more of it to try to get them into the playoffs. But I struggle seeing him with the consistency of those guys yet, and I can't put them there until you've done it for a year or so. I mean, we see a lot of guys have a phenomenal season. We see a lot of guys throw for 35 touchdowns and 18, or 5 picks. You got to be able to do it and stack it year in, year out. And once teams are anticipating and expecting you to do it, continually bore us with greatness. Yeah. Like that's when you get to that bar next total elite level.
And the bar that Aaron Rodgers set before him.
Stupid, yeah.
And the bar that Brett set before that. So I would say that there's a whole generation, maybe now 2 generations of Packers fans that are just used to Hall of Fame quarterback play.
Oh, totally.
And you don't remember David Whitehurst under center, or you don't remember when they drafted Rich Campbell as a number 5 overall pick in 1980, or you're, still traumatized by every injury that Don Majkowski had. Don Majkowski, a great quarterback, just couldn't stay on the field.
Couldn't stay on the field. And Doug, I think when I had been asked a lot about it, of following up the 2 Hall of Famers, no one's ever done this. I was like, well, Jeff Garcia was a Pro Bowl quarterback.
Yeah.
Well, like he was a pretty good quarterback,
but
then ended up what never lived up to what they expected and where the level was. Yeah. So I think like that's where you do have to recalibrate some expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And you see it around the NFL that it's that position's such a lightning rod. I mean, in a week when Jalen Hurts comes in here, my man just won Super Bowl MVP.
Mm-hmm.
And 4 weeks into the season, I don't think they had lost, and people were asking, can he play? Yes, he can. It's going to be continually deliberated, but especially in the NFC, I don't think there is a true great one. There's one that's going to end up in Canton and Stafford. Jalen has done it. And then there's a lot of guys that I think you can win with. I don't know that we've seen any of those guys have separated themselves as the guys that you win because of.
Yeah, and oddly enough, the Chargers kind of have a Hall of Famer, and maybe Hall of Famer and Herbert. They just didn't hold on to Breeze, I mean, they had Breeze, then Rivers, now Herbert in order. Crazy enough. I'll say this about this weekend. Trade deadline's on Tuesday, Billy. How much do you think this matchup against Carolina and the result end up influencing where they go at the deadline, if it is a move to be made?
I think maybe it would happen like if there was an injury, right? Like if there's a significant injury in a key spot where you can look and say, now let's go. The bad case, Josh Jacobs goes down and it's pretty clear he's not going to be himself at some particular point in time. Then maybe you knock on the New York Jets door about Breece Hall, right? Like, and you try to make some calls about it, but I don't necessarily know that those moves are there to be made. Now, I think the Marshawn Lloyd absence and the information we got this week, where it doesn't look like he's close.
I don't know that he's ever going to play for the Packers, to be honest with you.
At all. Like, so that point, then maybe you do then investigate that spot. But I don't know that anything is really jumping off the page and would change because of the result here this week. I think they're in on some conversations for corners. I don't know where those go. I definitely didn't anticipate they would trade for a perennial all-pro pass rusher in the beginning of the year when I was saying that I wanted them to shop in the Micah Parsons aisle. So I won't say no. I would be kind of surprised, though, by, 5 o'clock on Tuesday if they make a deal.
Billy, I hear Rasul Douglas may be on the market again now that Chris Greer has been fired in Miami. So maybe they go that route again.
Rasul Douglas is starting to be like, you guys go to Target at all, where you go up to the rack and right when you walk in, there's that $5 variety.
Yeah, the clearance section.
That's right.
But there's always a big old thing of Charleston chew.
Oh,
a big old yellow wrapper. That to me is like deadline Rasul Douglas. But guess what? You're going to grab it and be like, well, this is kind of lame. It's always here. You might think it's going to be underwhelming. Outperform your expectations. Charleston Chew may be a little better candy than people were thinking here on this Trick or Treat Friday.
You never know. Bill Schmidt joining us here in the No BS on the Packers taking on the Carolina Panthers. And, you look at you don't want to look beyond this, as we've already kind of talked about with the concept of the trap game, especially with Philadelphia coming up. But you've also got a bunch of division games coming up as well. And then also you've got the Lions and the Vikings taking on each other this week as well. So, I mean, I think there's going to be some eyes that are going to be on that. There's 3 NFC North games that are going to be going on at the same time featuring all 4 teams.
Yeah, all in the window. Thank God for NFL Red Zone to be able to second screen it in the press box, be able to open up a little bit of the book and enjoy that game, because that's a good one. Now, a lot of answers maybe for what Minnesota is. This is a great tipping point for them. If indeed to see J.J. McCarthy go up against the elite of the NFC in Detroit on the road, good luck in the environment. I will take the Lions. Like, I think that's a feastable opportunity for Detroit, who has been rolling as of late. But you're right. This is now the meaty portion of the schedule that opens up here with what some people are going to say a lackluster battle, maybe a little bit down opponent, but a better team than people are going to give them credit for.
And you also look at the way that they got raced last week.
Yeah, 100%. They gave up 260 yards on the ground or so to James Cook. He ran all over the place and did whatever he wanted. Andy Dalton looked absolutely cooked. So I think there's a point in time where, kind of like you threw out the Bengals trip to the aforementioned Vikings earlier this year, when they had just realized that Jake Browning was ass. Like, you're like, we can't throw this guy out there again. We're going to have to do something else. That felt like the moment for the Panthers of, we got to do something, whether it's Bryce or somebody else than Dalton. And maybe you get a little bit more of a spirited effort.
Billy Schmidt joining us here on the No BS Zone. And of course, weekdays from 6 until 10. Final thing for you, keys to the game for the Packers against the Carolina Panthers.
Being able to protect, again, this is a Panther team that, next gen stats puts down near the absolute bottom in terms of pass defense efficiency. And when pressured and when in a clean pocket so far this year, Jordan Love is the best, if not one of the best quarterbacks in football, top 3 in every statistical category when playing from a clean pocket. Even though we've seen Jordan move outside of the pocket more this year than he has in his last 3 years, especially more than he did last year, and to a much more effective level. This should be one where if you can control 95, big Derek Brown in the middle, you should be able to hold up in pass pro. And I anticipate seeing Jordan Love throw the ball a lot here today. Maybe not 30 sometimes and for 360 like he did a week ago against the Steelers, but should be a fun one at the old ballpark.
How is trick-or-treating in your neighborhood?
It was pretty solid. Doug, we live right next to the elementary school, or like 4 or 5 houses down from the elementary school. And there was a good back and forth, a healthy debate embraced on the Ring doorbell neighbors area.
Okay. Because I'll get that tonight. That's my neighborhood tonight.
You're tonight. Yeah. Yes. And everybody gets mad saying, why are all these people coming into our neighborhood to trick or treat? They don't live here. I'm like, well, you live by the school.
Yeah.
If I don't have a neighborhood that's going to be fun and I live with a bunch of older people, I'm going to go to by the school and trick or treat around there. I think it's an occupational hazard in the spot you're at. So it was hot last week. I expect you guys are going to be bumping.
Yeah, we're going to be bumping today. And that's fine. You know what? If there are kids that come in from other cities, I'm fine with that. You know why? Because it's Halloween. It's candy. It's for the kids. Get over it.
And you know what? Again, if you don't want to, turn the light off.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, as bad as it sounds, but I will stand very, very proudly right on one statement. My wife and I went to Costco to get the candy a couple of weeks ago.
Okay,
right?
because we had this battle in our house too, but please.
Big old bags, right? $20 or something like that. A huge bag of candy.
Yeah.
I grabbed 3 and put them in the cart.
Sure.
My wife goes, we really need 3 bags of candy? It's like, yeah, we're going to need 3 bags of candy. Let's start with 2 and then we can get more. We're going to get more on Trick or Treat. I'm going to drive.
That's not going to happen.
No.
Through the kids in the neighborhood walking all over.
No, even worse, we still ran out of candy an hour and a half in. I also ate half the bag. I told her part of the reason why we were buying 3 was to supplement the half a bag of candy I'm going to eat before Trick or Treat. You got to plan
out
ahead.
that by now.
She should. But listen, you're going to learn today. And she learned on Sunday that, listen, 1, get more Butterfinger. Because those were all gone out of the Kirkland bags before we had Trick or Treat. And let's always buy more candy because it's never a bad thing to have around
It's
the
never
house.
a bad thing to have. So what we did is Erica bought 2 jumbo bags. And I'm like, that's not going to be enough. She's like, we're going to have gobs. I'm like, you haven't handed out candy in years. Darling, my love of my life. So I went out and bought 2 more huge bags and just stashed them in my car.
So you're like Monica's mom and Friends when she had the lasagnas in the back just in case something bad happened. Like, I got it in reserve.
Yeah.
Listen, we don't have any more candy.
Yes, we do.
Don't worry, honey.
Don't worry. I got this.
Oh man, you're gonna be a superhero.
Yeah, that's what
Almost like Batman tonight when you come out of that dark night escape with 2 more big old bags of candy. Let's go.
I'm gonna need to borrow Nick's his costume.
Now, will you start up the fire also and be handing out drinks to the parents, which I didn't realize was as much of a thing during Trick or Treat?
Thing?
I got offered like 4 beers.
Oh.
And it was a tough thing to realize that I had to work on this past Sunday and then tell everybody no, and then I get the same question. So you can't have one? Yeah, because if I have one, then I'm going to go here and have one. Then I'm going to go have here and have one. And by that time, Armin's doing Packers OT with Drew Olson.
That's right.
Deep into the night. Billy, we appreciate the time. And we will, I guess, talk to you next after the Packers game against the Panthers on Packers OT.
Can't wait for it. And it's a very, very good portion of the schedule. But the best part is, Doug, it's the 5 of 6 noon games. The way God intended. Football to be played noon at Lambeau Field.
Yeah, the pregame show host has a different relationship to the noon kickoff.
The 2 different dichotomies, the pre and the post game.
Billy Schmidt, the game. We're going to do over. Oh, by the way, on our way out, the over-under, I set it 3 minutes and 54 seconds for LaFleur's Friday news conference.
Under.
You're going to go under?
I'm going to go under.
Okay, we've got another under.
I went under as well.
All right. I set it at 354. You got over. We've got unders. You can hit us up on the nicklaylaw.com talking text line 877-794-1973. Billy Schmidt in the No BS zone. We'll hear him after the Packers and the Carolina Panthers on Packers OT with Drew Olson. Stay with us. Coming up next, we will hear from Matt LaFleur and we will set that line. Well, the line's been set. We'll see what Matt LaFleur has to say about that on the other side. Stay with us.
Let's celebrate. It's all right. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate.
What's your favorite Halloween candy?
Mailman Jeff says there will be full-size candy bars at Mailman Jeff's house. So
really? All right, Mailman Jeff.
We need to go see Mailman Jeff. My goodness.
Happy Halloween from the game.
Looking back at the world of sports, it's the iHeartRadio Weekend Sports Time Capsule.
What's happening, fellow sports fans? It's Andy West, and I'm here to take you on a journey back to this week in sports history. We'll start off in 1914. Babe Ruth makes his MLB debut, pitching a 4-3 Boston Red Sox win over the Cleveland Naps at Fenway Park. This week in 1934, Carl Hubble strikes out Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Fox, Al Simmons, and Joe Cronin in succession. But the American League comes back to win the All-Star Game 9-7 at the Polo Grounds. Staying in baseball, this week in 1955, St. Louis's Stan Musial hit Frank Sullivan's first pitch of the 12th inning for a home run to give the National League All-Star team a 6-5 victory over the American League at Milwaukee's County Stadium. The American League had led 5-0 after 6 innings. This week in 1972, Robert Irsay buys the stock of the LA Rams for $19 million and swaps the franchise for the Baltimore Colts. The players and coaches are not affected. This week in 1999, Team USA wins the Women's World Cup over China in sudden death. The Americans win 5-4 in penalty kicks, with defender Brandi Chastain kicking the game winner.
Play ball!
And this week in 2010, Brian McCann's 3-run double in the 7th inning provided the National League all the offense it needed to capture its first Midsummer Classic since 1996 with a 3-1 victory.
And that's just some of what happened this week in sports history. The Weekend Sports Time Capsule on iHeartRadio. Drew and KB on the game.
We're talking with Wayne Larrivee, the voice of the Packers. As the broadcaster, after having called Aaron's career and all the highlights of his career, and now he's the enemy, so to speak, and you've got Jordan Love under center. What was that like for you?
It was strange, KB. You know, it's funny because preparing during the week and then even at the game, you know, I'd look down on that Pittsburgh chart and have Aaron Rodgers at the top of it, and I'm thinking I'm looking at a Packers chart. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. But it's a little strange, a little different. But, you know, we saw that with Favre when he left and went to the Vikings and came back and played the Packers 4 times. And so it wasn't that big an adjustment, but it was a little strange. And you know, to see Aaron out there playing for another team, it to me is personally, since I know him so well, it was a little disappointing in that regard. I always wanted to see him finish with the Packers.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search Drew and KB on the iHeartRadio app.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1967.
Van Morrison, formerly of the band Them, has a number 10 hit as a solo artist with Brown Eyed Girl. In July, LA band The Grassroots scored their first top 10 hit with Let's Live for Today. And UK supergroup Cream, featuring guitarist Eric Clapton, toured the US for the first time.
In the sunshine of your love.
And in September, Janis Joplin's band Big Brother and the Holding Company signed with Columbia Records and released their debut album. October of 67, Memphis band The Box Tops, including 17-year-old gravel voice singer Alex Chilton, have a number 1 hit with The Letter.
Yeah, ticket for an aeroplane. Ain't got time to take a fast train. Lonely days are gone, I'm a going home. My baby used to put me together. My baby used to put me together.
And in November, the first issue of Rolling Stone magazine is published in San Francisco, featuring an interview with John Lennon. The Who have their first and only U.S. top 10 hit with I Can See for Miles. In December, they smashed their instruments on the Smothers Brothers TV show.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1967. Coming up.
Jordan Love and the Packers welcome the Carolina Panthers to Green Bay on Sunday.
I think we've learned that you can never look past any team. You got time and you got to be your best on Sunday. So I think we're gonna have a great week of prep. I think that's a message that everyone's talking about. But you know, we got a good Panthers team who's been winning coming in, so we got to handle business.
D.N.D is previewing every angle of Sunday's matchup on the game. We call it Wagertainment.
All right, place your bets. Place your bets.
VSiN every night at 6. Presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest on Fox Sports 920.
iHeartRadio is the easy-to-use app for music and radio. Download the free iHeartRadio app today.
Saving energy saves you money. Whether you switch to Energy Star light bulbs, install Energy Star windows, or add extra insulation. Learn more at EnergySavers.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Energy and the Ad Council.
D.N.D. continues on. Doug, Nick, and Dave here on this Halloween day, October 31st, 2025. All right, so we have been alerted to a couple of things. I'd like to do full transparency as much as we possibly can. I don't know what the over-under, I don't know what the time is. I set the over-under at 3:54. I don't know if he goes over. I don't know if he goes under. Don't know. I do know, because we have been alerted to it, that there are a couple of unsavory words from our friends at the FCC that are uttered at this news conference. So we are going to take a pause and we're going to edit those out, because the last thing that we need is the FCC barking up our rear ends.
Yeah.
So we will, Again, don't know what the
if they're even allowed at work with the shutdown still going on, but
perhaps. Well, that's a good point. However, we're not going to take any chances.
Yeah.
So we're gonna just hit pause on that, and we will have the that answer for you coming up as we will hear from Packers coach Matt LaFleur coming up in the next hour of the program, because we've got Matt LePay coming up in just a few minutes, the voice of the Badgers. Of course, the Badgers football team is off this weekend. The Badgers men's basketball team, they don't play until Monday. That's when they open up their regular season. And of course, not only can you hear Matt LePay on the broadcast, but then afterwards you can hear Nick Bruzowitz and Dave Gasper on the J&K Security Solutions basketball postgame show on 1310 WIBA and on the iHeartRadio app. We can spin through the NicoletLaw.com talk and text line. Let's see. Fatter Joe writes, there were folks in my neighborhood who gave out 10,000 plus pieces of candy. It was a party up and down the block. That's a lot of candy.
How many are they giving per kid?
Like 100? I don't care how big of a party that is. But
10,000.
Mike and Merrill buys a case of Fireball, which is 120 count, to hand out to the parents.
Oh, there we go.
I like that.
I gotta start going to Mike's neighborhood.
I guess
there
so.
in Merrill. My goodness.
Kavika in Maui writes about the Packers and whether or not they're going to be active at the trading deadline. Money is not a problem for the Packers anymore. I'd like to get a running back for Josh Jacobs and a good corner. A good running back for Josh. We're not trading Josh Jacobs. What? Am I reading that wrong?
He just wants to get a good running back, a good
to
corner,
go
another wide
alongside.
receiver.
To go along. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. Maybe to be
Emmanuel
alongside.
Wilson.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs. Maybe a wideout, definitely a stud wideout or corner. If you think they can win the chip now, I do. I think they're in the. I think they're in that conversation. We'll, I think, know a lot more after they play Philadelphia not this coming Monday, but the week after. Probably no stud corner out there. Probably not. Plus. Hornsdale, plenty of people don't even have Love in the top 10. I do. I think Jordan Love's he's approaching. He's in the top, around the top 10. He can. I mean, we've seen him when he's got a clean pocket. He can be in the top 10. As far as money, not a problem. Money's not a problem. Cash isn't a problem for the Packers, but you got to fit it under the salary cap.
Yeah, there still is that restriction. No matter what, no matter what kind of profits you're making, you still have to fit into that salary cap because it is a hard cap. There is no, we can go over, and there's a first apron, second apron. There's no just, a luxury tax you can pay, because there is no salary cap at all. It's not like that. It is a hard cap. Like, this is the number. You got to be here or below it.
Let's see. Scott in Cottage Grove was Elf one year.
Ooh,
that's a good costume. Says the yellow leotards are amazing. I like that.
I'm sure I have never tried, so I'll have to take his word for it. About the leotards.
Yeah, definitely. Nick and Waukesha wrote back as well about we being his favorite show.
Yes.
Just stating facts. You guys make me laugh audibly when I'm servicing people's homes. I work in pest control.
Oh, there we go.
I love that.
All right. Love that. Awesome.
Please, no bats.
Listen, if they're invading people's homes, Nick and Waukesha is going to take care of that for you.
Yeah.
So that's what he does. All right. We're going to take a short time out. On the other side, Matt LePay, the voice of the Badgers, is going to join us. What is he doing with his weekend off? He doesn't have Badgers football to call this weekend. No Badgers basketball until Monday. Is he up at the cottage? Is he going to go out for Halloween? What's
his costume?
What? Yeah. He just needs to dress as Matt LePay. I wonder if there's going to be anybody who's going to be dressed as Matt LePay that's going to knock on my door today.
Ooh. I mean, I feel like if they do, they have got to get an extra piece or two of candy.
All right, they're going to get a lot.
They got to get some extra candy.
You can get a couple. If anyone comes to my door dressed as any broadcaster that we work with, whether it's Wayne, whether it's Matt, Billy, anybody that we work with, you're getting an extra handful if you come to my house today.
There we go.
That's what I'm saying.
All right.
That the gauntlet has been thrown down.
And for those wondering, Doug lives at.
Oh, yeah.
And here's his phone number.
If you can find my house. Listen,
right.
I hide in plain sight, baby.
Gated community,
That's all
hard
we
to get
do.
into.
Yeah, something like that. It is D.N.D, Doug Russell, Nick Bruzowitz, and Dave Gasper. It's the Game Radio Network. Matt LePay's coming up next. Stay with us.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
There you go.
There we go.
Just search 97.3 The Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1970.
Chicago breaks through with their second album, generating 3 top 10 singles: Color My World, 25 or 624, and Make Me Smile. And Simon & Garfunkel released the album Bridge Over Troubled Water. It would win the Grammy for Album of the Year. The single of the same name would also hit number 1.
Like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down.
In February of 1970, Paul McCartney files a petition with the court to dissolve the Beatles partnership. James Taylor leaves Apple Records and releases the album Sweet Baby James on Warner Brothers. He has a number 3 single with Fire and Rain and receives major publicity as a leader in the wave of new, more mellow singer-songwriters of the time.
Let it roll all night long.
The Doors get back to the blues with the album Morrison Hotel, which climbs to number 4 on the album charts. In March, Crosby, Stills, and Nash add Neil Young to their lineup and have a number 1 album with Deja Vu, which includes 3 top 40 singles. And New York hard rockers Mountain released their debut Climbing with the single Mississippi Queen.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1970. Coming up.
What's your costume this year? We're sports and Halloween stuff all day on the Game.
And I love seeing the kids and the ghouls and the goblins and all the costumes that they wear. But I've never participated. But Erica's going to be at work, and it's just going to be me handing out 3 Musketeers and the Kit Kats and Snickers to the kids. Do I need a costume?
I think so, Doug. To get into the spirit, it'll get the kids more excited. They'll enjoy it. Now we've got to figure out what.
Yeah, what costume, though? That's the thing.
How about Walter White?
Okay.
Let's go with that.
Okay.
And hand out little blue.
But that doesn't really mean that much to me because I was never really into that show. I've heard it's very good. I don't have anything against it. Just it hasn't been my thing. We can go outside the box of just bald men.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't have to be a bald guy. I play that part every day.
Well, this has to be believable.
Right. I mean, they do have wigs that you can famously put on top of a bald head. There we go. It's always more interesting when somebody really commits and, they shave their head because they want to be, Dr. Evil or Mr. Clean or Walter White. So one of the things that is easy for me is I could just be a football coach and just throw on like a Packers polo shirt,
a radio broadcaster,
and the headset.
Have a whistle.
Just throw a headset.
You got to have
on.
a whistle too.
You need a whistle. Oh, dang it!
Happy Halloween from all of us at the Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1969.
Low-budget film Easy Rider captures the public imagination with a soundtrack by Steppenwolf, the Byrds, and the Electric Prunes. The Woodstock Music and Art Fair is held August 15th through 18th on Max Yasgur's farm in Bethel. 32 of the biggest bands of the day played to a crowd estimated at 500,000. The event is later released as a movie and album. And with the boost from their appearance at Woodstock, San Francisco band Santana hits the top 10 with their debut album, Evil Ways. The festival undoubtedly immortalized Jimi Hendrix and ushered in the era of large rock concerts and arena rock bands. Also in October, Led Zeppelin have their only U.S. top 10 hit when Whole Lotta Love reaches number 4.
I'm gonna give you my love. I'm gonna give you my love. Oh, a lot of love.
The Allman Brothers Band released their debut album on Capricorn Records to good reviews but limited sales. And 7 years after his last number 1, Elvis Presley tops the charts with Suspicious Minds.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up.
For money-saving tips that can help put your financial house in order and avoid future financial headaches, call the National Foundation for Credit Counseling today at 1-800-388-2227 or visit them at nfcc.org, a public service from the NFCC.
Welcome back in. D.N.D, Doug Russell, Nick Bruzewitz, and Dave Gasper here on the game. Friday, October 31st. Happy Halloween. No Badgers football this weekend, and no Badgers basketball this weekend. They'll play on Monday, opening up the regular season after their exhibition game, the second of two, against Platteville the other night. Joining us on the program right now, as he does on Fridays, usually talking about the next day's football game, but again, no football game to talk about. The esteemed Hall of Fame voice of your Wisconsin Badgers, Matt LePay, kind enough to spend a few minutes with us. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Doug. I'm distracted by Bruzewitz there, like walking around a building with like two other people in there dressed like Batman. That's solid.
That is.
Who's Bruzewitz?
It's he's committing. He's committing.
Sounds
to
like
the
a
bed.
handsome guy.
What's your weekend like? I mean, you don't have any football to concern yourself with. You up at the cottage? What are we doing this weekend? It's like the last. It could be like the last crisp fall day that you have off.
I know. I thought about it. I thought about going up there, but I thought let's stay back here, work ahead a little bit. I'll be catching up with the basketball boys this weekend. They play Monday, their season opener. Get ahead of the football stuff a little bit. So grinding, Doug. Just here grinding, trying to stay.
That's how you get in the Hall of Fame.
Actually, we're probably going to have some beverages tonight, and may do it again tomorrow. Who knows?
Love it.
When you look at what waits this Badgers basketball team on Monday, Matt, we'll start with them because that's more pressing. A lot of people want to react one way or another to exhibition contests. And what they saw a couple nights ago was a group that had to battle down the stretch against a Platteville team that most expected them to just run over. Were you impressed by their resolve down the stretch to be able to create the gap that they did? It felt to me like Nick Boyd was the switch that got flipped.
Yeah, think about what you just said there too. Reacting to an exhibition game, because that's what we do, right? It's like, my God! I thought Platteville really played well, and yeah, they did push Wisconsin. I think maybe in the case of the Badgers, they're a team that's ready to start the season. I think one of the benefits, even if you're talking Division I versus Division III, and this was part of what Bo Ryan talked about when he was the head coach and they started this thing up, is that you're playing teams that know what they're doing. You're playing programs with systems in place. Jeff Guard's been at Platteville for a long time. And, if you're off, if you're kind of thinking, let's start getting ready for the games that count, you're going to get pushed a little bit. And I think in the end, it was a game that, not too many years ago, 69 points in a game was pretty good, probably for Wisconsin. But that's lower than normal. And Guard mentioned to us after the game, to Butchie and I, that he got a defensive lineup in there. And it was a 2-point game in the second half. They went on a 14-point run. Platteville they couldn't scratch for quite a while. So if they would have won 100-25, I don't know if my reaction to an exhibition would be a lot different. You want to see him shoot free throws better. 9 of 19 isn't very good. Coming off a school record and almost an NCAA record last year at better than 82% at the foul lines. But I don't it's natural to react strongly one way or another off of late October, early November games. But God forbid that they have a finished product right now. So let's see how they play Monday night. See if they can knock down shots at a better clip, not turn the ball over, which they did way too much against Platteville. Platteville got into them. I don't know, maybe that surprised them a little bit, but probably shouldn't have. But they got into their grill a little bit in that game and humbled them, probably would be a good way of putting it.
Yeah, and Platteville came in. I mean, this was a massive game for them. I mean, they know what it is on their schedule, a chance for them to play a big D1 school. But, yeah, now Wisconsin turning the page to the regular season with Campbell. And, as you kind of mentioned there, Matt, trying to trying to find, like you have established systems there at Platteville and other schools. For Wisconsin, you got a whole bunch of transfers coming in, a whole bunch of freshmen. You really only got 3 returning players from the rotation last year. What's your sense of how long maybe it could take for this group to kind of gel together on the court?
Yeah, that's the $64,000 question, or $64 million question, however you want to put it. How long will it take for Wisconsin and so many other programs that have had to redo their roster? When you think of all the newcomers with the freshmen and with the transfers, it makes sense that it would take a while, because another thing we talked with Greg about, one of the things that hasn't changed necessarily, guys coming into this program, as much as the landscape has changed, newer players are probably going to struggle with the defensive concepts more than the offensive concepts, although it's probably a little bit of both in some cases, especially with the bigs. Now, Andrew Rohde, good defender, where he came from. Braden Carrington, that's part of his reputation in his time at Minnesota and at Tulsa as a good defensive player. But other guys, you can get caught up in ball screens and how you going to work off of that and still stick to your principles. It stands to reason that it's going to take a little bit of time, and when you get into maybe late November, early December, things start to settle in a little bit. They'll get tested soon enough. Campbell's coming in Monday with the coach who was an assistant at Florida, which meant he got to Campbell late since they were kind of busy winning the national championship last year with the Gators. A lot of transfers there. Northern Illinois comes in a week from tonight, but then it picks up pretty quickly. BYU in a couple weeks. They could play Florida, depending on how the 4-team event goes in San Diego over Thanksgiving, and then obviously Marquette in December. So they'll get their test, but you just hope these first 3 games especially, that they can start to get a rotation settled in a little bit and just start to understand what is expected at both ends of the floor.
Matt LePay joining us, the Hall of Fame voice of the Badgers men's basketball team as well as the football team. I do want to change gears in the last couple of minutes that we have. Obviously, the football team, as we mentioned, off this weekend. They've got Washington coming into Camp Randall Stadium a week from tomorrow. 4 games left. You're not playing for a bowl game like you were a year ago when they had their struggles in the second half. If you're Luke Fickell, if you're the coaching staff, what's the message to keep these guys going for the next month in a season that just hasn't gone the way that they had hoped?
Well, I think the message is try to as best you can to get better. And the young guys played well. I know they got a lot of attention with Cooper Catalano and Mason Posa. Eugene Hilton made a really nice catch that set up this thing called a touchdown that they scored in the fourth quarter last week. But
by the way,
yeah,
chef's kiss on the call, by the way.
Yeah, it's like, there, I said it. Finally, almost forgot. But I thought some of the older guys did too. I mean, I have all the respect in the world for Ben Barton. He's been a grinder his entire career and has become a really important part of the interior of the defensive line. Other guys who have been in the program for a while who are having bitterly disappointing seasons. I thought up until the targeting penalty, Daryl Peterson, I thought was really flying around. The targeting penalty was an easy call. You just wish there weren't suspensions that were a part of it, but the call itself was an obvious one. So you want to continue to do that. I think that it's such a, I know fans hate to hear this, and I hate to say it, but you're looking in a year like this, who is still leaving everything out there as opposed to mailing it in. And I thought these guys, I didn't think the effort was any issue. It should never be. I get it, but we also know human nature when you're having a bad year. I'll be interested to see offensively what they do. People ask about Carter Smith, the freshman out of Fort Myers, Florida. They have 4 games left. You could play 4 games and preserve your red shirt. What that means, I don't know yet. Or will Danny O'Neal have a chance again to get in there and do some things? I mean, anything to provide a spark for an offense that has been abysmal. There's no other way to put it. It has been abysmal this season. So with this bye week, maybe you shuffle the deck a little bit. We'll see. But you have to find enough healthy bodies to do that first.
Matt, having to go to 4 quarterbacks isn't typically a recipe for success, and that'd be the reality if they go to Carter Smith. you've been covering this team. You've been calling their games for 3 decades. Have you seen this team in a position where they've gone to 4 different QBs in one calendar season?
Yeah, and I don't know if they will. I mean, I don't know where Carter Smith factors in.
Even 3. I have to imagine
3
is
is
an anomaly.
Yeah, and 3 is unusual, but there was a team 11 years ago that went to a third-string quarterback that won the national title. I don't want to name names, but they're located in Central
that's good.
Ohio.
That's good.
The depth here just isn't going to be quite the same, and we've all found that out. It's brutally hard to do that. As we said before, there is a laundry list of reasons why they're in this situation. You cannot discount the injuries to the quarterbacks, to the offensive line. They've had no continuity there. That's real. It's hard to expect a third-string quarterback in most places, including this one, to really put up big-time numbers. That hasn't happened. Are those the only reasons? Hell no. There are a lot of other reasons, but those cannot be ignored. So it is extremely unusual. We've seen injuries hit this program through the years, but I also know that in the best years they have had very good fortune at avoiding a lot of injuries. I mean, because the depth at a place like this, even pre-NIL, all that stuff, the depth here just isn't the same as it is with those select few programs, those blue bloods that can absorb injuries to what you think are key players. Wisconsin is just not one of those programs.
Matt, it's been more than a year since the Badgers have won a Big Ten game. Where do you think is the most likely spot for them to get a conference win in the remaining part of the schedule?
Yeah, great question. Wish I had a firm answer. Maybe Minnesota, depending on which Minnesota team shows up. The game's up there. PJ Fleck has had some pretty good success against Wisconsin. Washington's good, so that'd be a real eye opener if they beat the Huskies. They're idle this weekend. They're not ranked. They probably could be. Big time quarterback there. Indiana would appear unlikely, David, down there.
What?
Just saying, would appear. Just being real. Illinois. I just think Illinois is better. Look, everybody they're playing is better than Wisconsin. Yeah. But Minnesota's a little bit of a seesaw, and we'll see actually where Illinois is because they've lost some games this season. They've had some guys probably banged up as well when they come in here. So I would hope for the home fans who have been there. First off, thank you to the fans who have been there at Camp Randall Stadium.
100%. I mean, absolutely.
Those are 2 words that need to be said a lot more. Thank you to the fans who have been there. So I would love to see this team just be more competitive for one thing on the home field. But man, if they could win a game, if it's somehow against Washington or against Illinois, I think the fans deserve to see that. Those who have been here and, as you said, have waited for more than a year to see this program win a Big Ten conference game.
Here. Matt LePay joining us here on D.N.D. Matt, we appreciate the time so much. Enjoy the weekend off or grinding out the basketball schedule, which is coming up starting on Monday as well. We'll talk to you next week.
I'm just amazed that Bruiserwood sits there with a straight face. All right, Batman. Have a good one, man.
We haven't been. Don't worry.
Thanks.
See you, boys.
All right. That's again, we call that committing to the bit that Nick Brusewitz has chosen to do with the Dark Knight outfit.
I see without seeing. To me, darkness is as clear as daylight.
You're pretty good at. So is that your most quotable movie?
I'm just reading them off Google.
Oh, wow. Okay. You didn't have to admit that. We'd never know.
Yeah.
We can't because we can't see your eyes. Basically, is what it boils down to. We can kind of
look cross-eyed.
See where they're supposed to be.
This is not remembering the movie. This is my life.
It's easy to channel when it is just my life. All right, we're about at the halfway point. We have cleaned up Matt LePay, or not Matt LaFleur, not Matt LePay. He doesn't need any cleaning up.
No,
Matt LePay is fine. Matt LaFleur, unfortunately, did need, however, some cleaning up, and we did do that. So we're going to play that coming up after Dave's update, which is coming up right after the top of the hour. We'll also hear from Micah Parsons, Green Bay Rewind with Mark Daniels. Got Bruiser's Bites coming up a little bit more than an hour from now. And I do it's the same question in a different sense that I've got for Badgers fans. for the last 4 games of the regular season? What's your juice for the last 4 games of this season? Because this has been a topsy-turvy world all over college football, but that also definitely includes Madison as well. We're 2 hours down, 2 hours to go. We're at the halfway point. Stay with us on this Halloween edition of D.N.D. on the Game.
Trick or treat, weird sports, and Halloween stuff all day on the Game.
You buying or selling the idea that you'll see more costumes out on Friday night this week when, for me and for my money, and Hunter, you probably can attest, young people get after it. Halloween was last weekend for most. Like Halloween parties at houses and stuff. Friday night is actually Halloween, but seems like it's already done. Trick-or-treating's been done.
I didn't totally understand because Halloween is on a Friday night this year. So I don't, everything, and all the trick-or-treating was last week. I'm like,
really? Ours is always on Halloween.
As it should be.
In most communities, it was last weekend.
Okay,
like
that's my
Sunday.
buy or sell.
Yeah.
Do you buy or sell trick-or-treating on not Halloween? Unless it's maybe, okay, the 31st is a Monday or something,
Yeah, if it's
right?
a Wednesday
and then
or
the
something.
30th maybe.
Hurricane.
Couldn't help but make me feel ashamed to live in a land.
Scottish sensations, the Bay City Rollers, finally score a hit in the U.S. with their #1 single, Saturday Night.
Saturday night.
In February, former Steve Miller Band member Boz Scaggs has a #2 U.S. album with Silk Degrees. Peter Frampton hits #1 with his double live album, Frampton Comes Alive. It would become the best-selling album of 1976.
I want you. Show me the way. Every day. I want you. Show me the way. Night and day.
In March, Irish hard rockers Thin Lizzy's 6th album, Jailbreak, scores them a #12 hit single with The Boys Are Back in Town.
The boys are back in town again. Been hanging down at Dino's.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1976 coming up.
No BS on the Game.
Show up all the odds of the different teams that could win the title. There are 14 teams up on there, none of which were named the Milwaukee Bucks.
Wow.
For the first time in a long time.
We're not top 14. Jeez.
Let alone top 4. Yeah. I mean, that's been the Bucks for a majority of the last decade since Giannis has taken that next step and become the MVP player that he is and has been in the NBA. So you just see, and at the Potawatomi Sportsbook right now, you can look down the list of different teams, and right. I think the Bucks appear right around 15th or 18th in terms of odds. They're like 50-1 long shots to win the NBA championship.
Plus 5,000 right
and
now.
And understandably so. They are a really, really unproven group and a very unproven commodity. But when they got the best player in the Eastern Conference that is still seemingly wide open, definitely not as much of an open and shut case as I think the Western Conference is, with Oklahoma City kind of head and shoulders above everybody. In the East, I don't see that. And I see a team that is, with him as motivated as he appears to be, it could lend itself to positive results.
Billy and Armin are talking about all of your favorite teams each morning from 6 to 10 on the Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1968.
Born to be wild.
In January of 1968, Steppenwolf released their debut album, including the single Born to be Wild, which charts at #2 in the U.S. Johnny Cash records 2 live shows at California's Folsom Prison, along with June Carter and Carl Perkins. Also in January, the Beatles are #1 with Hello Goodbye. In London, they launched their own company, Applecore, with a store, a recording studio, and record label. February of 68, Pink Floyd lead singer Syd Barrett is checked into a psychiatric hospital and the band replaces him with David Gilmour. The Beatles, Donovan, Mia Farrow, and others travel to India to study transcendental meditation with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. And Bill Graham opens the Fillmore East concert venue in an abandoned New York City theater. April of 1968, the musical Hair opens on Broadway for the first of 1,750 performances. It would spawn several top 40 hits, including Aquarius, Good Morning Starshine, and Hair. Simon and Garfunkel released their album Bookends, which goes to #1 in the US and the UK. The single Mrs. Robinson would go to #1 in June, thanks to the movie The Graduate.
God bless you, please, Mrs. Robinson. Heaven holds a place for those who pray. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1968. Coming up.
What you waiting for? Let's go. Make sure to make us a preset on the iHeartRadio app so you can listen to us anytime, anywhere. Wisconsin's home for sports and stuff. We are the game.
He's very knowledgeable, very intelligent guy, very personable guy.
Here's Dave Gasper.
Well, tonight we got Game 6 of the World Series. The Toronto Blue Jays are going to try and close it out against the Los Angeles Dodgers. They'll have Kevin Gausman on the mound against Yoshinobu Yamamoto here for Game 6. Yamamoto famously went with a complete game in Game 2 while also throwing a complete game against the Brewers in Game 2 of the NLCS. So he's been the guy for the Dodgers. If anyone can force it to a Game 7, Doug, the two best words in all sports, in my opinion, it would be Yamamoto.
He's a great pitcher. We've seen that, certainly. So Game 7 over Super Bowl then?
In my opinion, yes.
Okay. All right. Okay.
That's just me.
Well, to each their own.
Yeah. I'm a baseball guy through and through. As
I
know.
get that.
Yeah.
I know. I understand that. So, but I also know you don't want to see the Dodgers win. So would you rather see, in your opinion, the Blue Jays just close it out tonight, or do you want to go to a Game 7 where you've got the specter of perhaps Los Angeles winning it?
Ooh, I mean, I do love the drama and the specter of Game 7. But I would be
rolling the dice.
Yeah, be rolling the dice. But
there's more baseball.
There's more baseball. There's another game of baseball, which I'll never complain about.
I hate Blue Jays. They think they're cool. They can't fly. They can't fly in the dark like
they
me.
can't fly in the dark, and they don't sleep during the day, and they don't hang upside down.
What? Just because they're not blind, they think they're cool?
Yes, exactly. I would hope they're not blind, although they may be blind when they're facing Yamamoto, because no one's been able to hit him all postseason. He's been absolutely fantastic. So we shall see.
You didn't answer the question. What do you want? Game 7, or do you want you want him to end it tonight?
I want them to end it tonight, but I'd be okay with a Game 7.
Okay.
I'd be good with that.
Okay.
So yeah, that is a big thing in the world of baseball. And then after that, the offseason gets underway. And speaking of the offseason getting underway, it's getting underway for Chris Greer as he hits the unemployment line. He is out as the GM of the Miami Dolphins. And he, according to the reports, they mutually agreed to part ways.
Yeah.
I've got a feeling it wasn't too mutual.
Wasn't too mutual. Probably shouldn't have been mutual. And listen, Stephen Ross is able to fire his general manager. Stephen Ross wants to fire his general manager.
Yeah.
That's what the owner gets to do. So the Dolphins haven't had a very good season. Mike McDaniel obviously is going to be next. I think the handwriting is certainly on the wall.
Yeah, they've announced he's going to finish the season.
Yeah.
So he'll stay there through the end of the year.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, we're not going to fire you in the next 6 weeks, but
here's the difference between general managers and head coaches. Usually general managers, not always. There are some exceptions. Usually general managers get one crack at it. Yeah. Coaches are recycled.
Yeah. And if you're the Tennessee Titans, you get 0 cracks at it. They'll just alternate firing you every other year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That could be.
But taking over for the Dolphins will be Champ Kelly as the new interim GM. Because why not? The former player, former defensive back. So now he gets to take over there for Miami as they make that move ahead of the trade deadline here. Also down in Florida football, the Jaguars are putting Travis Hunter on IR with a knee injury.
That's not great.
So
that's not great.
That's tough.
That is such a talented player, and I love. He's one of those guys who just loves playing ball. Obviously, loves playing on offense, loves playing on defense. But you got to be smart about, just taking care of yourself as much as possible in the NFL, because as every NFL player eventually learns, it is a big boy league, and it is a lot. There's a lot more attention on the NFL than there was on them in Boulder.
Non-contact is brutal at practice too. I mean, it didn't happen in game. We know that pain around here with Bakhtiari and his injury at practice. But good thing for him is he's a freak athlete. He's going to have world-class doctors. He's going to get healthy, and he's going to be back out there and hopefully be able to reach that potential that we all expected from him.
Yeah, hopefully he's able to reach it soon here, because he's just such an exciting player when he's out there. Meanwhile, the least surprising news of the day, LSU's athletic director, Scott Woodward, is officially out. He's officially been let go from LSU after famously the other day, as we talked about yesterday, Doug, the governor stepped in and said, you will not be allowed to hire the next football coach. And
turns out he was right, wasn't he?
He was right, as they finalized their exit agreement, and he has been let go. And now Verge Osbury will be the interim athletic director for LSU, and he will have full authority to hire the Tigers' next football coach
until he screws it up.
Former LSU linebacker, been connected to the university for more than 30 years. He's an LSU guy through and through.
That doesn't always mean that, though, they're going to make the best decisions.
Not necessarily.
Just because you're in I'm going to do a Brian Kellyism. Just because you're truly in the family doesn't mean that you're smart. Doesn't mean that you're going to make good decisions. It just means that you're not faking when you say that you're in the family, like Brian Kelly did. Just
me and my family.
Me and my family down here in the bayou. That's about as
poor guy. He was the richest guy in their state. Now he's gone.
Well,
no.
But he can go off with the $53 million that he is going to be making from the university. He doesn't get it all at once, of course, but he'll be able to go wherever he wants, and he doesn't have to be down in the Baton Rouge area. He doesn't have to be in the bayou. He can go back to where he came from, and that's Massachusetts, where they don't talk like that.
Yeah.
That's where he's from. He's not from a place that talks about the family.
Gosh,
I just like saying that.
Oh yeah, it's fantastic.
It's just fun. It's just fun to make fun of Brian Kelly because he's a turd.
I have no family.
That is true, Batman.
That's true. Yeah,
that is true. Yeah.
Who is your Robin there then, Batman? Where's? I know who your Batgirl is. We know So is your girlfriend dressing as Batgirl?
Undetermined.
Does she have I don't want to know. She has a Batgirl costume.
There is an actual Robin.
That's none of my business.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we do have a Robin that works at the iHeart.
That's right. Robin is Robin.
Oh, see, there you go. Yeah.
Perfect.
Does she know that yet? I mean, she knows that she's Robin, but does she know that
we're on a hiatus? I said you gotta stop wearing your underwear on the outside of your outfit. Robin did not take kindly to that.
She got HR involved.
This is my last day.
Monica.
They don't know I'm here.
Is Sean Alfred then by default?
Yes.
Okay.
Preble is Alfred.
I could see that being the case. I could see it.
He's got all the gadgets.
Yeah, he does.
He does. He does have all the gadgets.
That's true. That's true. Sean Preble is Alfred in this scenario.
There we go. We need him to grow Alfred's got a mustache, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we need Sean to grow a mustache.
He just has to move the facial hair up.
Yeah, exactly.
From the chin to the lip.
There you go.
And then he would truly be Alfred. He's got to get a tuft of white hair though.
I got made fun of for calling him Alfred for a long time, so it's Alfred nowadays, I guess.
It's Alfred or not Alfred?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
I was pronouncing the Ed part, and
just don't call him Alf.
Former radio host named Mike made fun of me.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
And look what happened to him now.
He's bartending over at the Red and White, which apparently so was Butchie last night. I did not even know that.
There you go.
Wisco Willie writes, you guys are on point today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
We
that.
try.
Appreciate you. Let's see. Asian Chris Solani was writing back to you. Oh, he's complimenting your voice and your staying in character.
Yeah, it's Lego Batman.
Yeah, Lego Batman. Will Arnett. Have you guys seen the Lego Batman movie?
I have not.
No. You already knew the answer to that, though. You already knew the answer to that, though, didn't
Incredible.
you? Do we have hit everything there, Dave?
Yes.
You got everything? Okay.
Yes.
I sent you the edit. So I listened to the Matt LaFleur, and it's right at the end. And one of them was technically after. So I do know what the length is.
Yes.
Because we had to. Normally, we just let it run. If we can take it live, we take it live. But Fridays is always live. So I set the over under.
You have
at,
to bleep that one too.
I set the over under at 354. I wasn't far off.
No.
But are we ready to roll it?
We're ready to roll it.
All right. Here is Packers head coach, the edited version, potty mouth, of your head coach of the Green Bay Packers, Matt LaFleur.
We saw Quay in pads to start yesterday, but then didn't practice. What happened there?
He was feeling a little something. So we were a little bit cautious with him. But the plan and goal is for him to go out there today and just see how he feels.
I know Jeff's talked about it a few times. Just how much have you seen him grow over the last, Jeff's been here for 16 months, 18 months, whatever it is.
Yeah, he's done a hell of a job, and I think that's his play speaks for itself. But just in all the things that you guys don't always get a chance to see, I think there's a reason he was voted as captain, and I think that's even given him more confidence to get out and lead. I thought just he's had so many great examples of what it takes and being a great leader. I think last week in that game, just the mental toughness and poise that it took not to retaliate in the situation. I thought that was as critical as anything, but it was a great example of just his leadership and how much growth he's shown over the course of these 4 years.
Last week, Vrabel mentioned during the Cincinnati game that throw to Golden down the left sideline. It's at least how I interpret it was that was kind of that play design was kind of drawn up on the fly. Are those?
Are you talking late in the game, the fourth quarter, or the go ball?
Are those, regardless of that play, are those conversations where designing stuff or coming up with something new on the fly based on what the defense is doing? Is that constant throughout the game? And
Yeah, I think so. I mean, sometimes it happens more than others based on it. Typically happens if you're going into a game and they do something that you don't anticipate. I would say generally that's when maybe a play could get drawn up in the dirt. And it's not like it's something that's not within our, playbook somewhere. It might not be up for the game. And then you make a sideline adjustment, and I know everybody gets enamored with that stuff. But it typically, it doesn't happen as much as you may think.
You can put your game planner hat on for a minute. When Micah lines
It's always on, Bill.
Okay, well, I wasn't sure what hat you had on today.
Okay. I don't know which one. Okay. It's there.
When Micah lines up, kind of like a middle linebacker, standing up over the center, how does that challenge you getting ready for a game?
Well, we call those spinner looks. Without telling you exactly what we do, I would say this. It's a little bit more challenging because you're expecting him to line up on the edge and then he's inside. So you have to have a plan for that.
Is it hard to double team a guy? I mean, obviously he gets double teamed on the edges all the time. Is it hard to double team a guy when he's there?
It could be, dependent upon what everybody else is doing. I mean, a lot of time, you can slide it to that guy but if you got two bigs on the other side, then it gets a little bit harder. Certainly you can have the halfback, be a part of the protection and make sure, he's looking out for him too until somebody else blitzes that he's got to account for. So I would say that it's kind of predicated on what the other guys are doing based on what you can do to try to, stop that look.
Since you didn't know what hat you had on, do you not know what your Halloween costume is going to be?
It's Halloween, huh? Got a big discussion with this with my assistant Daryl. I was like, I don't give a shit if it's Halloween. All right. We're trying to win a game, period. So, well done, Wallers. Yeah, it's a Friday in the National Football League. That's what day it is.
That seems like a good way to end it.
It does.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Seemed like a good way to end it. Even with the tomfoolery at the end, if you picked the over, you were correct, but not by much. I picked the over-under at 354.
I blame the tomfoolery.
424 is where we clocked out at.
Yeah.
But there was some tomfoolery there at the end.
I blame the tomfoolery for ruining my under.
I won.
It's just like overtime ruining the under. Like, come on, guys, what are we doing?
I wasn't that far off, but there was some chicanery.
Yeah.
At the end, and so if you had the over, congratulations.
Woo-hoo.
Thank you. Well done.
Great for you guys.
424 is what he clocked in on today. We should. I'm going to go back for the last several weeks and then just keep a chart of how long those Friday newsers are.
Yeah, there we go.
So
and we can set the lines,
and then we'll have an
odds.
average. Yeah. If there's added injuries, you don't anticipate there necessarily being Halloween questions at the end.
Yeah. What a buzzkill.
Mike McCarthy used to get into Halloween a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. He used to do a weekly interview with McCarthy back in the day. Matt LaFleur doesn't necessarily like doing those, but Mike McCarthy always played along, except when he asked him what his favorite cookie was, and that just flummoxed him.
You guys remember when Favre pranked Holmgren?
Which time?
Yeah, I guess there's just the viral one I've seen.
Okay.
He goes to the
Brett
front
Favre.
door.
Oh, that one. Yeah. No, I've seen that one. Brett Favre used to pull a lot of pranks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, do you think Matt
Jokester.
LaFleur would enjoy, like, if he came on this show and just saw Nick in his Batman costume? Do you think he'd actually enjoy it?
So there's two
taking questions from Batman.
So there's two Matt LaFleurs. There's the one that's in front of the microphones, and then there's the one that isn't. And the one that's in front of the microphones is a lot more buttoned up as opposed to the one who isn't. And I got to see a little bit of that last year when we were doing the Matt LaFleur. It's been a week. The Matt LaFleur podcast with Matt Schneiden. And as are most people, a lot different on mic than off mic. And my favorite parts about doing that podcast and producing that podcast on site was the fact there were only four of us in the room. And when the microphones went off, like, that's when you got really the good insights. That's when you got the good stuff. So that's why he has such a good rapport with guys like Bill Huber. And he has got a good reputation, or a good rapport with Schneidman and with Rob Demoski and Jason Wilde and those guys, because, they're pretty stiff up there. But then when you get them away from that, that's when you get the personality to come out a little bit. So I think that he would enjoy it. I think he'd have fun with it.
Okay.
There
we go.
Just probably not on mic.
No, yeah, not on the air. Perhaps he'd be like, "Okay, guys, let's get serious here."
Micah Parsons is your NFC Defensive Player of the Month for the month of October. He met the media outside the locker room yesterday. I want to play some of that coming back on the other side. Also, Ryan Rollins, is he the new Giannis? I don't know if I go that far, but the Bucks did win last night, and Ryan Rollins had a hell of a game in Giannis's absence. Want to hit that. We've got Bruiser's Bites coming up at the top of the hour. Also a Green Bay Rewind with Mark Daniels, as he will look at the first ever meeting between the Packers and the Carolina Panthers. And oh my goodness gracious, it was a doozy. And we'll hit all of that and more coming up. It is the Halloween edition. Doug Russell, Nick Bruzewitz, and Dave Gasper. Nick has been replaced by the Dark Knight.
Yeah. This Nick guy he sounds wonderful. I mean,
he sounds delightful.
If I'm ever lucky enough to meet him, I'll call myself blessed.
Stay with us on the game. Happy Halloween, everybody.
I want a new tour bus full of old guitars. Mine star on Hollywood Boulevard.
Trick or treat. What's your costume this year?
When I lived in Chicago, I borrowed a Cubs jersey and I went in full Cubs regalia. And they're like,
you're not a Cubs fan or anything like that. I'm like, no. The conception of the costume this year is something that you never see in October.
Happy Halloween from all of us at the game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1969.
In May of 69, Neil Young releases his first album with Crazy Horse, Everyone Knows This Is Nowhere, featuring the songs Cinnamon Girl and Down by the River. The Who released the double concept album Tommy, which goes top 10 in the US and the UK.
Even on my favorite table, he can't beat my best. His disciples needed him, and he just does the rest. Stop crazy, flipping fingers, never seen him fall. That gift of a blind kid sure plays a mean pinball.
David Bowie's single Space Oddity, released to coincide with the Apollo 11 moon landing, reaches number 5 in the UK. Also in July, Bob Dylan has a top 10 hit with Lay Lady Lay in his new, deeper-sounding vocal style, which he attributes to quitting smoking.
Whatever colors you have in your mind, I'll show them to you, and you see them shine. Lay, lady, lay, play across my big brass bed.
Blood, Sweat, and Tears have a number 2 hit with Spinning Wheel, popularizing the so-called brass rock movement that includes BST, Chicago, and Electric Flag.
Drop all your troubles by the riverside. Catch a painted pony on the spinning wheel ride.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1973.
In November of 73, Billy Joel's second album yields a minor hit with Piano Man, which goes to number 25.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you've got us feeling all right.
Ringo Starr continues his solo success with the number 2 album and 3 top 10 hits, including 2 number 1s, Photograph and You're 16. Meanwhile, John Lennon releases his 4th solo album, Mind Games, which goes to number 9 in the US. And in December, the single Taken Care of Business drives the second album by Canadian rock band Bachman Turner Overdrive to number 4. Emerson, Lake and Palmer released their 4th album, Brain Salad Surgery, which goes to number 11. And after passing away in a plane crash in September, Jim Croce has a posthumous number 1 with Time in a Bottle.
Looked around enough to know you're the one I want to go through time.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1973. Coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1969.
In January of 69, Creedence Clearwater Revival has a number 2 hit with Proud Mary. The Beatles perform live for the last time on the rooftop of Apple Records in London. And after touring as the New Yardbirds in September of 68, Jimmy Page renames the band Led Zeppelin and releases their debut, which goes top 10 in both the US and UK.
Oh, good times, bad times, you know I've had my share. When my woman left home for a proud man, but I still don't seem to care.
In February of 69, Detroit rockers MC5 released their debut album Kick Out the Jams on Elektra Records. Tommy James and the Shondells have a number 1 hit with the psychedelic-influenced Crimson and Clover. And San Francisco's Sly and the Family Stone go to number 1 with the single Everyday People.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Rick Springfield to get some insight on his latest release, Rocket Science.
It's a guitar-based record for sure, and I love big hooks, and not a country record at all. It's a rock and roll record, but it does have some country elements.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from Rick Springfield and all your favorite artists.
I'm Jason Flom, founding board member of the Innocence Project, and my new podcast is Wrongful Conviction, available on iHeartRadio. On Wrongful Conviction, I interview a different exoneree every week and help them to tell their incredible stories of tragedy and triumph against impossible odds. You've got to hear it to believe it. Wrongful Conviction from iHeart Studios, available now on iHeartRadio.
It's close to midnight. Something evil's lurking in the door.
For my money, still Thriller is one of the best 5 or 6 albums of all time.
Yeah.
Oh, there's not a skip on it. I mean,
Yeah.
If you're on the stream, you're watching Dave do the Thriller dance.
And Batman.
There's a lot of
That's right.
13 going on 30 over there on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
I get it. I understand. It was a cute movie.
Yeah. I don't know. I've never seen it.
Not a big fan of Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah, but Jennifer
Rival superhero.
Listen, Mark Ruffalo's a Wisconsinite. He's from Kenosha. So you got that. And Jennifer
Hulk's
Garner.
overrated.
Jennifer Garner's in it. Come on. Jennifer Garner's
The
delightful.
Capital One girl?
Yes.
Yeah.
She actually did have an acting
Yeah.
career at one point. Too.
Oh, okay.
Didn't
She
work
doesn't
out for
only
one
do
Batman
Capital
with
One.
her.
That's true. That's true. It did not.
Yeah. Poor
But,
guy.
well, Ben has had he's had some personal setbacks, even though he's had some professional highlights, I would say.
Just like Batman.
Just like
That's right.
Batman. Just like Batman. Micah Parsons, I don't know how many setbacks professionally he's had. I think everybody has personal setbacks, but professionally, he seems to be flying high right now. He is your newly minted NFC for the month of October, Defensive Player of the Month for the second time in his career. Obviously, the first time in his Packers career, but this is a guy who, when he first came to Green Bay, one of the things that was important to him was just 2 words: everybody eats. And when you look at how well the Packers as a team have gotten to the quarterback, even if they don't get home every single time, you look at a guy like Rashawn Gary, who we've been waiting for him to break out for really the entire length of his Packers career. He's got 7.5 sacks right now. Micah Parsons has 6.5 sacks right now. Micah had 3 a couple of weeks ago in a game and against the Cardinals. And when he gets going, he's hard to stop. It was like Myles Garrett the other day. I mean, with 5 sacks. When some of these guys get going and they just cannot be blocked, that's when you see players that are elite really kind of show why you spent the money and the draft capital to bring him in. Shortly after the announcement was made from the NFL, Micah Parsons met the assembled Packers media outside of the Packers locker room.
Well, congratulations.
I appreciate it.
Defensive Player of the Month, just thoughts on being able to have an award, even though it's a early in the season award, but still just what you've done.
I mean, no matter what you do, it's always a great honor to get recognized by your accomplishments. But even though, you just understand more months, more goals, we're working towards something bigger. So, obviously sit back, reflect, appreciate this month about the work from the teammates, everyone who's invested into this. But now it's just like kind of move on. Now we're in November, and it's like this is going to be one of our biggest months in terms of teams, championship caliber, and going to where we want to go.
We had one of our listeners or fans say, give it in a month where they had a line. How about that?
Yeah, that was impressive. I was like, damn, dude. I even looked back and said, what games did we play? Like, it kind of threw me off too. Like, I was a little bit in shock, but we just ready. I just feel like I'm really getting into a groove and rhythm right now, and I'm excited to go play again.
Did you look at Aaron's house after he told you to buy it?
I looked at it actually like a month or so ago. I talked about it, and Tuck said he might try to look at it. And I said, it's a nice house. Like, don't get me wrong. But it's just me right now. That's why I'm just not, like, in the urge to buy anything. Like, it's just me.
Like you said, you feel like you're getting into a groove. Why do you think that is, and what do you think that leads to?
I just think the team is understanding how I play. Coach Halfley, my rushers, we understand the talent we have and situations, and we're just coming together as a cohesive unit. Like before, it was just like, let's see what Ono can do. Let's and then now it's kind of like the standard's been set in the room, and we just talked about the standard last couple of weeks today, and how we just hone in on it. And what that means more stuff's coming in. We're only going to get better because now we're like, all right, this is how they're going to play. We're going to adjust to this. Like, so many things is coming in. And we're glad that teams is showing us, how they're going to approach me, how they're going to approach the team early on, because now we can plan for almost everything. And we have a plan for almost everything. So it's always exciting to see what new challenges we face. But, early challenges means later success because we've seen these looks before. We've seen how they're going to attack us. And now we kind of know how to adjust or what to get into.
Micah, you're giving other teams a lot of different looks, like in Pittsburgh lining up behind the D-line and then coming around from the middle. What type of a bind does it put opponents in when you're able to do a lot of stuff? And how much fun is it to have different stuff each week?
Yeah, it's fun. And that's why I say, there's not too many rushers that understand systems. And, like I said, I've been extremely blessed because I've been around some really great coaches, from Coach Edwards. My rookie year, he used to make me sit in after work and watch film extra hours about reading slides and protections and how teams are going to manipulate. How they start is how they're going to end. They just don't want to – they're going to try to confuse you. To Coach Zim, to teach me about protections even more, to the greater magnitude of with the six-man double Mabel and all that other stuff. And when you understand how teams are going to protect and how they're going to come out, one thing that we have to our advantage is they have to communicate. They're in their game plan, they're like, where's number one in lining? If he's outside, we can motion. But when I go inside, it's like, now which way can he go? Is he going right? Is he going left? And I can dictate that because I know where it's going, how they're going to try to approach me. They want two people on me. And if they're going to do that, guess what? Other guys are going to come free. Other guys are going to be one-on-one. And if they don't, that means I'm going to be one-on-one. So, I mean, when you kind of understand the game at a really high level and you can manipulate the game the way you want to, you can really have a lot of fun and a lot of success. And we've been having a lot of success with it when it comes to Bengals. We had success with it. Last week we had success with it. And now we're just adding to that toolbox about how much more success we can have with it. So it's going to be where it's going to end, and this is just the beginning because we just started doing it. It's going to be really fun.
Teammates getting a better idea of what you're going to do in those situations.
Yeah, and that comes with it. And we're communicating in practice. Hey, I want to try to do this look. Like even practice today, I'm going up to KB and I'm like, hey, look, we're going to get the full slide this way. I want to try this game to this to see how it looks out, see how it looks, how it's going to plan out. Are they going to poker? Are they going to full slide it? Even, if Quay's down, if Quay's on the line, are they going to full 5-man slide or just 4-man slide? So we're getting all different type of looks. And we're reacting to them, and that comes with practice. Like we've been able to actually practice together and learn from each other, not just in games. So we're just getting more advanced, and it's a good thing when everyone's knowledgeable, when everyone's coming to work to learn, and everyone knows when their opportunity is going to be there.
Hey, Mike, as someone that's worn the green dot, what have you thought of just what Quay has done? Just kind of the partnership you guys have kind of been able to build here.
Yeah, Quay's my guy. He's a fun guy, quiet guy, but when I tell you, he accepts every challenge in the most graceful way, and he just puts his head down and work. It's actually great because I was telling some of my friends in the group chat, I was like, I kind of see why teams draft guys from Georgia and Bama, and I would say for just a week. Kind of like when we started hanging out more, I just watched him the whole week, and we're sitting next to each other at lockers, and I'm talking about throughout his whole week of how he practices and how he plays and how he's always into his film. Even pregame, I'm sitting next to him, I'm listening to tunes, and he's looking through his play call sheet, just like the details, his mannerisms, how he approaches the game. It doesn't surprise me with the success he has, and I'm excited to see what he does, for here and even in the future.
Packers edge rusher Micah Parsons, your now reigning, it's still October for a few more hours anyway, October Defensive Player of the Month in the NFC. And we've seen just exactly how much of a game wrecker he can be. Just like when Batman is trying to save Gotham from Mr. Freeze or the Joker or the Riddler. Certainly we have a guest
nowadays
today.
We gotta look out for the Rizzler. I don't even know what a Riz is, but
if you're just listening on the stream and you're just joining us right now, Nick has decided to commit to the bit of The Dark Knight. He is dressed in costume today. Dave and I have not. I think
no.
What is that, a t-shirt or a hoodie?
Yeah, just a t-shirt.
Okay,
I do have a hoodie, but I took that off. It's
a little
warm in here.
I'm in my fall uniform, which is a hoodie and jeans.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Nick is in his uniform of The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
That's right. All black.
You must save the city from crime.
How is your voice holding up?
You know what? It's a little bit of a commitment.
Yeah, it is.
But
because Adam West never
Get some water over
he
there.
never changed his voice. And the thing that always astonished me about Batman back in the 1960s reruns that I would watch when I would come home after school is that neither he nor Robin, the Boy Wonder, they never changed their voice. And it always astonished me, like, Bruce Wayne is a very prominent member of our community. And he and Batman are never seen at the same place at the same time. And gosh, they look a lot alike. They have the same build and the same voice. And they never put two and two together just because put a little mask over the eyes and boom,
that's right.
I mean, I question Commissioner Gordon. I question his acumen. I question whether or not he was fit for the job. I question whether or not Commissioner Gordon was able to run the city, considering how he couldn't tell the difference between Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, kind of like in the Incredibles too, where it's like, oh yeah, you just put a little bit of a mask over the eyes, and that's it. That's all we need to do to conceal ourselves. Like, no one notices the giant, guy who's.
I like
wait a minute,
Gordon
aren't
the way
you the
he is.
insurance salesman?
I've never seen The Incredibles, so.
Oh man, that's another great
All right,
movie.
well,
but yeah,
Doug hates children.
I don't hate children. I'm going to be handing out candy to children later on today at Halloween when they come knocking on my door.
He just wasn't watching children's movies when he was in his 30s and 40s.
Thank you. That's it.
Yeah,
Which
is
20
fair.
years old.
What's that?
Incredibles is 20 years old.
Exactly.
Yeah. So Doug was in his 30s.
I was in my 30s 20 years ago.
Yeah. So shockingly, he didn't want to rush out to theaters to watch that.
Yeah, we talked about the registry earlier this week. I don't want to be that guy in the movie theater whose people are questioning at
Why
a children's
is he
theater. Is he on the registry? No, I'm not.
No,
I'm not, and that's why I didn't go see The Incredibles in a movie theater.
We'd like it to stay that way.
I have every full intention of it remaining that way for the duration.
Yeah. But what are you going to go with for your outfit for giving out the candy?
Okay,
tonight?
so I think what I'm going to do is I may just throw on some khakis and then throw on a headset and a hat, and I might just go as a football coach.
Okay, yeah. You need a whistle though around, like on a lanyard, like a whistle.
But football coaches don't have whistles when they're coaching games.
Well, true, but it just kind of further sells the bit.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I like to go for authenticity if at all possible. I need to find a red hanky. I think in the prize closet there were some
red towel or
some
something.
red towels or something. I can use that for
there we go
a red challenge flag.
Yeah,
might do that.
Yeah, and if any kid comes up dressed as a referee, you got to scream at him. There's got to be like, that wasn't a hold. What are you seeing?
I'm gonna make
that's
him cry.
not holding.
I'm gonna make
good call. Screaming at kids.
Yeah.
Usually works out.
I'm gonna get punched in the face by
some mom or dad.
Yeah, that are walking their kids around the neighborhood. But it'll be fun. It'll be a good time, and really looking forward to seeing the most creative costumes. Because my neighborhood, for whatever reason, the kids do it all. They do it well. I love their creativity that they have nowadays. It's more than just going to the pumpkin over at State Fair Park or one of the Halloween stores that pop up.
Yeah, the Spirit Halloween and the old Joanne Fabrics that went out of business.
Yeah, and they always find a storefront, and they always have. Listen, it's a win-win for everybody because everybody needs a Halloween. Well, not everybody needs a Halloween Halloween
a lot of
costume,
people want
but a lot of people want one, and it's rent for the landlords when the Joanne Fabrics of the world go out of business.
Yeah, exactly. And one other idea for those out there trick or treating. I did this a couple of times when I was a kid. So, it kind of gets, dark out. So your parents give you like little flashlights, whatever else. So one time, this house I went up to, like I had the flashlight kind of like right underneath my face to make the lighting go trick or treat, like, the extra spooky. Nice. This lady loved it. She's like, you know what? Typically, like everyone gets 2 pieces of candy, but for that, you get 3.
See, there you go.
I'm like, okay, all right, this is fair. I'm going to keep on doing this. So yeah, so there's something to maybe think of if you're going around looking for candy. Just do a little flashlight, try and make it a little spooky, have a little more fun with it. You might get extra.
Yeah, we have a black cat too, so I just got to keep the black cat away from the weirdos. I mean, it is Halloween. Although we did adopt her, so it was 10 years ago today that we actually adopted her.
Oh,
so they let us.
Awesome.
I'm surprised that they let us adopt a black cat on Halloween.
Wish someone would have adopted me. I'd spend my whole life in an orphanage.
He was famously an orphan.
Lucky cat.
And
I can purr if you need to.
Yeah. Well, a bat, a cat. They're all in black.
Cat. Yeah, but Catman doesn't really have the same kind of
but there's a Catwoman. There's a
Catwoman, but Catman just doesn't kind of hit the same.
Yeah, there's a Batgirl. There's a Catwoman.
Yeah.
Do we have a favorite Catwoman?
What's that Catwoman about? Yeah, she's pretty interesting.
Well, Halle Berry was Catwoman. I remember that.
Yeah. So was Anne Hathaway.
Oh, that's true too. I'm a big fan. Big fan.
Zoe Kravitz in the most recent film.
Oh, really? I haven't seen the most recent film. Zoe Kravitz, I think would make.
You gotta see that one at least.
Oh, I will. For you, Batman, Dark Knight, Bruce.
Yeah. Michelle.
I'll turn the lights off in my home otherwise.
What do they call you? When you're in costume, is there a pet name for Batman? Is it just Batty? Or
I don't know.
Well, why not?
I always fly away. Before they can call me names behind my back.
Yeah. Last person who gave me a nickname was my mom.
And she's dead. She
died in front of me.
The first time the Packers and the Carolina Panthers ever met was in January of 1997. We will take a look back on the other side. Green Bay Rewind with Mark Daniels is coming up straight ahead. It's Doug, Nick, and Dave. Or I'm sorry, Doug, Batman, and Dave on this Friday, October 31st. It is Halloween. Stay with us. Stay with us on the game.
Jordan Love and the Packers welcome the Carolina Panthers to Green Bay on Sunday.
I think we've learned that you can never look past any team. You got to take it 1 week at a time, and you got to be your best on Sunday. So I think we're going to have a great week of prep. I think that's the message that everyone's talking about. But, we got a good Panthers team who's been winning coming in, so we got to handle business.
D.N.D is previewing every angle of Sunday's matchup on the game. Stay tuned.
Yes.
D.N.D will be back in just a moment.
Classic Cuts.
Even the greats sometimes have to polish songs before they're ready to be recorded. Bruce Springsteen acknowledges how much work went into the lyrics of Born to Run. The proof is on paper.
The music was composed very meticulously, so were the words. The amount of time spent honing the lyrics was enormous. The notebook that I wrote Born to Run in, you would take the first page and you would see a line or two. 50 pages later, you get something close to the finished song. I think it was this thick with different versions. And I wrote and I rewrote it and I rewrote it and I rewrote it.
We're sports and Halloween stuff all day on the game.
You're not a scary movie guy coming up into Spooktober at the end of it?
Not my bag, not my thing. And I really question people that enjoy getting scared. I question it. You're telling me you're going out here and getting entertained by getting scared about stuff? I mean, I need some comic relief here. That doesn't sound like entertainment to me, but I have friends that love it.
Yeah.
This is the time of year we get together and watch all these crazy horror movies and Halloween movies. And
not liking scary movies, which I'm in the same boat as you.
Right.
I'm going to pass on them. It was tough though at a certain age because you wanted to be like
with
cool.
the girls with the girls. I get it.
Yeah, middle school, high school. We're gonna go see Prom Night. I'm totally not scared to go see that.
I wasn't gonna cry in the corner.
Yeah, you can totally okay with what's happening right now.
You can open your eyes though.
Arms are just shaking.
Gosh.
Happy Halloween from the game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1969.
In January of 69, Creedence Clearwater Revival has a #2 hit with Proud Mary. The Beatles perform live for the last time on the rooftop of Apple Records in London. And after touring as the New Yardbirds in September of 68, Jimmy Page renames the band Led Zeppelin and releases their debut, which goes top 10 in both the US and UK.
Good times, bad times, I've had my share. When my woman left home for a blind man, but I still don't seem to care.
In February of '69, Detroit rockers MC5 released their debut album Kick Out the Jams on Elektra Records. Tommy James and the Shondells have a #1 hit with the psychedelic-influenced Crimson and Clover. And San Francisco's Sly and the Family Stone go to #1 with the single Everyday People.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1969. Coming up.
I'm Hunter Baumgart with a programming update. Where can you find the games you want to listen to and when? We've got the answers. Tonight, the Milwaukee Admirals are at home hosting the Cleveland Monsters. It makes so much sense. It's on Halloween, right? You can listen to that game on our sister station, Fox Sports 920 AM in Milwaukee. WOKY 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock faceoff with Aaron Sims. Also tonight, the Badgers women's hockey team is in action. They're hosting Minnesota. You can hear that game in Madison on 1070 The Game. And again, tomorrow, the Badgers women's hockey team hosts Minnesota at Levon Arena. You can hear that game in Milwaukee on Fox Sports 920 AM starting at 1:50. And in Madison, you can hear it on 1070 The Game. The Badgers men's hockey team also hosts Minnesota tomorrow, 5:30 pregame, 6 o'clock faceoff on WIBA 1310 AM in Madison. And the Milwaukee Admirals host Cleveland again tomorrow night, 5:30 pregame on Fox Sports 920 WOKY. And Packers football on Sunday. Pregame show with Doug Russell begins at 8 a.m. In Milwaukee, you can hear the coverage on 95.7 Big FM, the new home of the Green Bay Packers. And in Madison, Doug Russell's pregame show begins at 8 a.m. on 1070 The Game. All other Packers coverage begins at 10 a.m. on WIBA. And then Sunday Night Football features the Seahawks and the Commanders. You can listen to Westwood One's coverage on our sister station, Fox Sports 920 AM, 6:30 pregame, 7:20 kickoff on Sunday night. I'm Hunter Baumgart for the Game Radio Network.
Doug, Nick, and Dave, D.N.D. here on Friday, October 31st, Halloween Day. The NicoletLaw.com talk and text line always open to you, of course. You don't need a written invitation, but I'll give you a verbal one, 877-794-1973. Mike from Merrill. As a couple, you can go as Catwoman and Catmandu. Bob Seger. No one would guess that one. That's true.
Yeah.
Let's see. Kelly, the volleyball player, says Nick as Batman should be a recurring character on D.N.D. I'm cracking up today.
There we go.
We all are.
Yeah, we can make that a Friday thing.
Nick
just
I
throws
can keep
it.
the mask here. This Nick guy, I mean, whoever he is, he can wear it if he wants. But
Randcorp writes in, and Randcorp has been paying attention all week long, which we do appreciate. Nick should have Batman help him out with the neighbor dog piss situation.
Oh.
I'm Batman, and it ain't cool to let your dog piss on the porch.
That's
right. Well played.
That's right. There we go. Yeah. Now, if Batman's knocking on your door to ask you to stop doing that, I mean, you gotta comply, right? I'd imagine.
I would think. Stephen Portage writes about something that we talked about a little bit earlier. Fellas, we've done it at our house before. Where do you stand about having beverages of choice available for the adults, bringing the kids around? Honestly, I never thought about it.
No.
That's not, I just never thought about it. That's not I'm not opposed to it, but I don't know that I have enough, stock in the house right now to take care of the entire neighborhood. And I don't think that I'm going to have enough.
You're not going to get the approval from the missus to go out and get a whole bunch?
She's at work. She would never know.
Yeah.
I'm going to be the one who's, she's working. This one's on me. So I don't think that I will have time to go out and take care of the entire neighborhood because I've got a couple of things to do after I get off the air here.
Just hand out household items.
But
here, kid, have a lamp.
That's right.
Have a wooden
I live
spoon.
in darkness, but lights are out.
Do you want throw pillows? We have 24 of them.
Oh my God! Don't get me started on throw pillows.
You can take the throw pillows.
Every 6 months, she needs new throw pillows. What's wrong with the old ones? I just wanted new ones. Oh, okay.
There's no place to sit on the couch. It's all filled with throw pillows.
Okay.
Takes me 5 minutes to get in bed.
877-794. What is it with women throw pillows? 877-794-1973. It is D&D, Doug, Nick, and Dave. The Packers take on the Carolina Panthers coming up on Sunday. You can listen to it in Milwaukee on 95.7 Big FM, in Madison on 1310 WIBA, around the state, of course, on the Packers radio network as well. But Mark Daniels covered that first. So did I, as a matter of fact, covered that first meeting between these two teams. It happened back in 1997. It was a memorable day. It was a cold day, but the cockles of everyone's hearts were warmed by the end of it. Here's Mark Daniels to explain more.
I've had the pleasure of covering every Green Bay Packers-Carolina Panthers game. This will be the 18th meeting between a founding NFL franchise and an expansion team that arrived in 1995. Funny games, but like so many things in life, you never forget the first one. January 12th of 1997, the powerhouse Packers met the Panthers in just their second year of existence in the NFC Championship game for the right to play in Super Bowl 31. After upsetting Dallas, the team Green Bay couldn't get past in 3 prior playoff seasons, Carolina, coached by Dom Capers, who'd later become a Packer defense coordinator, got the jump on a sunny, frigid day when Sam Mills picked off Brett Favre deep in Green Bay territory, setting up a short Howard Griffith TD pass from Kerry Collins. It was all Packers from there, though. Dorsey Levens pulled on a 29-yard TD grab up the sideline to tie it. After a Favre fumble set up a field goal, Antonio Freeman caught a 6-yard fade in the final minute of the half. And Tyrone Williams came up with a huge pick, set up Chris Jackie's 31-yard field goal with 10 seconds left for a 17-10 lead at the break. After trading field goals, Edgar Bennett broke clean up the middle for a 4-yard touchdown late in the third. Jackie tacked on one more kick for the resounding 30-13 final that set off a Lambeau celebration 29 years in the making. Packers were NFC champs and going back to the big game. I had to chase down a lot of people in a raucous locker room after that one, beginning with head coach Mike Holmgren, who had outlawed his top-seeded team from even mentioning the word Super Bowl leading up to the game.
Yeah, we can talk about the Super Bowl now, finally. Yeah, we're going, and it's obviously a very, very exciting time for us.
Dorsey Levens was unexpectedly spectacular with 205 yards of total offense.
No, never. I mean, I thought I would contribute a little bit. You know, I never dreamed of having a game like this, so this is definitely a career game.
Reggie White said the defense locked it down after the early deficit to finally break through at last.
Well, you know, I just think it was our time. You know, I think we built up to it. Guys really worked hard. Guys really dedicated themselves. Everybody in this organization deserves this because we really worked hard at it. And I praise Jesus for this opportunity.
But the Minister of Defense knew the task was far from finished.
When we keep reminding one another, we win the big one, then we can celebrate for the rest of our lives.
Leroy Butler told me the team's confidence never wavered through a dominant 13-3 regular season and securing the first championship at Lambeau since the Ice Bowl.
It's been a great ride. I just like let everybody know there are people that stay with us from the giddy-up, from the first game. Those are people we like to celebrate with. So we had a lot of doubters out there. I had a lot of things like don't bet on Brett. Brett's not going to be this. He's not going to be that. You know, this is not a one-man show. This is a team. And I think that's the reason that we cut a lot of people off guard. Because our team plays together. And we don't have any individuals as a team. And I think that's the way Mike Holmgren coaches. And looking back when we lost to Kansas City and Dallas, a lot of people wrote us out. But we stayed strong. And our leaders kept the team together. And we did what we had to do to get here.
They got there, led by Brett Favre, who threw for 292 yards and 2 scores in the cold. And after thawing out, he beamed over finally making it to the season's last game.
I mean, it's an unbelievable feeling for everyone. I mean, it's hard to explain. I mean, not too many people get to feel what we just got to feel and are going to feel. I don't even think it's really sunk in yet. And I've been thinking about this all week. I mean, I've never felt the way in my career, except for maybe my first game ever back at Bay St. Louis Elementary when I had butterflies. My dad showed up late for the game with me in the truck. That's the last time I felt the way I felt the last couple of days. I mean, the butterflies, I was not scared. I was not nervous. I was just very anxious. It was hard to sleep. Me and my wife, we were going back and forth. I mean, I don't know who was going to throw up first,
I also caught up with the man who made it all possible. General Manager Ron Wolf had built a team seemingly without a weakness.
We're not unlike a lot of teams. We lose one or two key players, and then there'll be weaknesses. But this team here is as good a team as there is in the National Football League right now. And I think we've demonstrated it certainly last week and the week before last, and obviously today.
Head coach Mike Holmgren, who won a trip to the Super Bowl fittingly at Lambeau Field on Lombardi Avenue, where streets seem to get named for legends.
Maybe if we keep going for another 10 years, who knows? Maybe a little alley or something.
All right, that's Mike Holmgren as Mark Daniels takes us back in time to when the Packers and the Carolina Panthers first met in the 1996 NFC Championship game. Of course, the Packers coming away with a big win and then went down to New Orleans a couple of weeks later and defeated the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 31. We've got one more hour to go. Bruiser's Bites coming up right at the top of the hour. Stay with us. It is the Halloween edition of D.N.D. Doug Russell, Nick Bruzowitz, and Dave Gasper here on the game.
Who you gonna call? Spooky season is here. We're sports and Halloween stuff all day on the game.
Matt Miller joining us here, a man about film, where you follow him on all social medias and follow the Substack, subscribe to the Substack.
I'm not a big horror movie guy. I'm not a big Halloween movie guy. Billy, we talked about this earlier in the week. I don't think getting scared is great entertainment, but to each their own. All right. I don't know where you feel in general on the genre. Is it one of your favorite genres?
Yeah, I like horror a lot, especially right now. It's kind of where the most original stuff is being made, because as the rest of Hollywood gets really kind of IP crazy and gets really scared of original risks in other genres, and we've lost kind of the adult drama. Horror is kind of one of the few places that studios feel comfortable being like, yeah, let's do an original story here. Yeah, let's push some buttons in this area. Like let's do some weird visual stuff. Let's have some fun. So that's kind of made horror this exciting genre right now. And it's always kind of been the scrappy genre. There's a reason why when wannabe filmmakers, want to make their first movie in college or whatever, they make horror movies. You can make them on the cheap and make something that is kind of fun and kind of, impressive in its low budget way. It's harder to do that with, a very serious drama.
Happy Halloween from all of us at the game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1970.
Don't keep me waiting here. Lead me to
The Beatles released the Phil Spector-produced album Let It Be. It generates 3 number-1 hits, Get Back, Let It Be, and their final number 1, The Long and Winding Road. The Kinks song Lola, about a romantic encounter with a transvestite, makes number 2 UK and number 9 US. In July, the Stooges released their second album on Elektra Records, Fun House, and British band Mungo Jerry are number 1 in the UK, number 3 in the US with the single In the Summertime.
have a drink, have a drive, go out and see what you can find.
In August, Eric Clapton releases his first solo album and scores a top 20 hit with his cover of J.J. Cale's After Midnight. Neil Diamond scores his first number 1 with Cracklin' Rosie. September of 1970, Neil Young has a top 10 album with After the Gold Rush. War, an anti-war protest song by Edwin Starr, tops the charts.
What is it good for? You tell me. Say it.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1970. Coming up.
Want to watch D.N.D? They're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X right now.
I like him even more.
Just search 97.3 The Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1973.
In November of 73, Billy Joel's second album yields a minor hit with Piano Man, which goes to number 25.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you've got us feeling all right.
Ringo Starr continues his solo success with the number 2 album and 3 top 10 hits, including 2 number 1s, Photograph and You're 16. Meanwhile, John Lennon releases his 4th solo album, Mind Games, which goes to number 9 in the U.S. And in December, the single Taken Care of Business drives the second album by Canadian rock band Bachman Turner Overdrive to number 4. Emerson, Lake and Palmer released their 4th album, Brain Salad Surgery, which goes to number 11. And after passing away in a plane crash in September, Jim Croce has a posthumous number 1 with Time in a Bottle.
Looked around enough to know you're the one I want to go through time.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more. From 1973, coming up. Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1975.
In February of 1975, Scottish funk and R&B band The Average White Band released their second album. It goes to number 1 thanks to the number 1 single, Pick Up the Pieces. Linda Ronstadt has a commercial breakthrough with her 5th album, Heart Like a Wheel. The album goes to number 1 and features the number 1 single, You're No Good. Bob Dylan has a number 1 album with Blood on the Tracks. The single Tangled Up in Blue goes to number 31 in the States.
I noticed something underneath my breast. You studied the lines of my face. I must admit, felt a little uneasy when you bent down to tie the laces of my shoes. Tangled up in blue.
Also in March, UK band 10cc have a number 1 hit in the UK with I'm Not in Love. It goes to number 2 in the States. And My Eyes Adored You is a number 1 comeback hit for Frankie Valli, his first since 1967.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more. From 1975, coming up.
Listen to us live 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app and watch our shows each weekday on YouTube, Facebook, and X. We are the game.
I think everyone's wanting to know whether or not we can do in character all of Bruiser's fight today as the Dark Knight. That's not an expectation that I have.
That's my expectation.
It might be an expectation that others have, but I would never put that.
I don't know who this guy is.
My Nick. The talking text line is available to you. We just heard a couple minutes ago from, by the way, welcome into the final hour of D.N.D. Doug Russell, Nick Brusiewicz, and Dave Gasper. Heard it from Mark Daniels in our Green Bay Rewind about the 1996 NFC Championship game. Mike from Merrill writes in, I was there. Yeah, so was I. I specifically remember Reggie White going around the lower bowl of the stadium giving people high fives. Our offensive line totally shut down All-Pro Kevin Green. It was magical, such a long time coming. Speaking of the late Kevin Green, he was an assistant coach for the Packers when they won Super Bowl 45.
That's right. Telling Clay Matthews, it is time.
It is time.
It is time.
Kevin Green was fun to be around.
Oh, I'm sure.
He was a blast. The thing that I remember more than anything else that whole week was just frigid cold. It was just unbearable. But you go to the Super Bowl and it all kind of works itself out.
You feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
You kind of do. Let's see. Uncle Leo writes, Doug, try being married to an interior designer when it comes to pillows.
Oh,
yes.
It's a tough scene.
Why am I hearing myself? Somebody's got their radio on. Somebody turn their radio off.
It's not me. I don't know. Maybe it's this Nick guy that's messing with Batman.
Could be. Let's see. Ted in the 920 say I'm not wearing hockey pads. What does that mean? I need context.
I don't know.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Okay. I guess that's what Ted in the 920
We should all say it.
Was going. I don't know. I mean, context, people, context. It's always important. All right. Let's see what Batman / Nick or whomever has for us today in Bruiser's Bites.
Time now for Bruiser's Bites.
Batman's Bites.
Batman's Bites.
Yeah. Well, the prepared script in front of me says I'm supposed to mention a WI concrete coating, so I will do so. Quick Google search, wiconcretecoatings.com. You find great work. They'll do your garage floors, your garage basement, your garage floor, your basement, I should say, your outdoor deck or patio, as well as cabinetry. So we'll start here with the Green Bay Packers, and we mentioned Mike McCarthy earlier. This is his take on what happened in Pittsburgh on Sunday Night Football.
It really was. It was a great atmosphere. The go Pack, go. We've heard that so many times on the road. That was something I didn't think I'd ever hear in Pittsburgh. But it was a really cool night, and I thought Green Bay really stepped it up in the second half. I've seen Green Bay play live three times now, and seeing them in person, I've been very impressed. Week 1, week 2, and then this past game against Pittsburgh.
Big Mike's impressed. Are you impressed?
I'm impressed so far that you've been able to stay in character. Yeah, of course I'm impressed with Packers fans. Packers fans are the best, and that's why it's special to be a Packers fan. It's because, for all the Oh, tiny Green Bay. Oh, little tiny North Central, East Central Wisconsin. I can't believe they have a football team. And why would anyone ever want to play there? And, the coastal. I don't like the term coastal elites. I think it's kind of a lazy term, but the coastal elites, I'm going to use it anyway.
It's fitting.
It is fitting because it's the New York and the LA people who just kind of look at Green Bay not only as flyover country, but kind of pissant country. And I'm tired of it.
They think they're better than us.
Green Bay, if you never have been there for game day, I don't think, or you don't have any desire to be there for game day, you're not a football fan. That's it. Because it is the mecca of, you walk into that stadium, you walk into the town, and it just drips with history. You look at Lambeau Field, and I like to get to stadiums when, I'm just occupational hazard of being there, as part of my job. I'm there before almost anyone else is, so I get to see the empty stadium. Sometimes you just look at the Packers sideline and say, you know what, Vince Lombardi roamed that same sidelines. And you look in the south end zone, that's the same end zone that Bart Starr snuck into in the Ice Bowl. Just so much history happened there. All the great players that played there. All the history, all of the championships that have happened in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So I don't, and the way that revenue sharing is, that's what allows Green Bay to have the Packers and to let them be successful in the first place. Yeah. So the ownership that Packers fans have of that team, it doesn't surprise me. And as good as they've been, Packers fans want to travel, and they wanted to go travel and see they want to go travel and see Aaron Rodgers. And Pittsburgh, I have nothing but mad respect for Steelers fans as well, but they kind of got schooled by Packers fans a little bit on Sunday Night Football. And I never would have thought I'd hear that "Go Pack Go" chant at Acrisure Stadium as well. So am I a little bit surprised? Yes and no, but Mike McCarthy is a Pittsburgh guy through and through. So if he's surprised, that says something to me.
Yeah, I mean, you knew Packers fans would be getting up and getting ready for this game, and they would want to travel out to it and see Aaron Rodgers again. I'm a little surprised Steelers fans didn't put up more of a fight, seeing like, okay, we got Aaron Rodgers going to be playing Green Bay. That should be one heck of a game I want to go see. And Steelers fans, they just kind of got pushed out a little bit by the Packers fans being loud. But we've also, seen this in other spots. I mean, the Lions fans have started to creep into Lambeau a little bit more in recent years.
It's true.
So road fans, I mean, traveling pretty well on the road for some of these games, and Packers fans were able to do it last week. I'm not surprised by it. And because this is a game that everyone had circled on their calendar. Every single person, as soon as the schedule came out, as soon as you saw Aaron Rodgers was signing with the Steelers, this game was circled. We all knew it. So Packers fans prepared themselves ahead of time. They got themselves those tickets to that game, and they were phenomenal.
And it's fun to see a different city. It's fun to see a different stadium. And sometimes it's easier to get tickets to a different stadium than it is Lambeau Field as well. And
yeah, that's true.
Pittsburgh's an underrated city. Pittsburgh's a really cool city. And you get a chance to go and experience their culture. And like I said, really, really underrated town. You feel like you're driving through like these forests, and then you go through this tunnel. And then when it spits you out, you're just like in the middle of this urban jungle. You never would have believed it on the other side of the tunnel. So it's the way that the city is laid out is really cool.
I'm just happy they were able to rebuild the stadium after Bain destroyed it. That's just an incredible feat of modern construction. Well, Packers have not just taken notice of their former head coach. Peter King was on the Let's Go show, and he had this to say about how the Packers modeled their roster.
They don't knee-jerk anything. And I think in drafting Aaron Rodgers when Brett Favre still had time left, in drafting Jordan Love when Aaron Rodgers still had time left, in the 2036 draft, whoever is the general manager, let's say it's Gutekunst, is going to draft a quarterback to replace Jordan Love. Because in the realm of sports, you always have to be concerned about tomorrow. And if I were other general managers, other coaches, other franchise owners, I would say to every person in my organization, let's study what Green Bay does. Because what Green Bay does is not be a prisoner of the moment.
This isn't a new conversation, so I'll take a different angle on it. How much impact do you think having no one owner has on an organization's ability to operate in the way that Green Bay does?
I think to a certain extent, a huge amount. I don't know that it necessarily, when it comes to draft and development of quarterbacks, how that factors into it. But maybe because you don't have that one guy who's looming over from the ivory tower who's looking at the general manager saying, why hasn't my investment paid off with a Super Bowl championship ring yet? The way that the ownership structure in Green Bay is, I think is absolutely beneficial, because when it was Mark Murphy who was running the organization, for example, and we'll find out with that policy, but he's a football lifer, and his dad had so much success with the San Francisco 49ers back in the 1980s. You would like to think that some of that rubs off on Ed, and I think it will. I think he was a natural choice, and I think he'll continue to be great, because the last couple of Packers presidents have been spectacular. Mark Murphy, his number one job was to not screw up what Bob Harlan had built. And not only did Mark Murphy not screw it up, he built upon it. He built the Titletown district. He added to the stadium experience and just continued to pour resources into the organization and then into the players' amenities to not only help lure players, but also make them and continue to make them feel comfortable in Green Bay, whether it was building the new crick, whether it was building the new locker room, whether it was the indoor parking that they constructed a couple of years ago. It's just one thing after another. The Lambeau Field has been a construction zone for most of the last decade and a half or so, and Mark Murphy is to credit for a lot of that. And then, we know what Bob Harlan built. Sometimes I have to emphasize what Mark Murphy did, just because the bar was set so high by Bob Harlan, who rescued this franchise from oblivion and turned it into the juggernaut that it has become. Yeah, you'd like to see more Super Bowl championships, but just the fact that they're relevant every single year and they're on national television all the time, that's a testament to the leadership that Bob Harlan and then Mark Murphy has had. The ownership structure that the Packers have, I think, not only the ownership structure, but also getting the right fit. And with Mark Murphy, a guy who played in the NFL, I think that was important. So it's twofold. Not only is the ownership structure, but also getting the right person in that president and CEO role has, I think, paid enormous dividends for the Packers' success on the field.
Yeah, and the important part, too, is that it's a position where even if you do get it wrong, you can remove them a little bit more easily than, say, an ownership position. If you get a bad owner put in there, that owner is going to be there until they decide not to. If you got a bad choice for president and CEO, you have the board that can remove them. I imagine you have that process. So that helps them to ensure that they are going to be successful going forward and have the right fit at the top of it. And not having that owner, I think it absolutely does play a factor, not having that guy hanging over the head of the GM, trying to, push things to happen faster, whatever it is. So I think being able to have the structure that they do, it gives them that kind of freedom to make those choices at the quarterback spot that have worked out so well over the last 30 years or so. And just being able to move off of someone bad, if in case someone bad got in there, having the ability to move on from that is going to help them stay afloat.
Matt Fleur was asked yesterday if he had utmost confidence in his quarterback. This is what he had to say.
I don't know if coaches bring that out of anybody. I mean, you got to have a certain level of talent to be able to do it. Just because I don't think I've ever brought that out of somebody. That's all them. And typically, if a guy can't make that throw, you tend to try to stay away from that guy. So I just think he's doing an excellent job. He's playing with a lot of confidence, and I think that's pretty evident. And like I said, I think he's played really good football the majority of the season.
How confident are you in Jordan Love?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. It's building. Again, with the bar set as high as it has been over the last 35 years, which is just ridiculous, you expect a certain level of quarterback play, and when you don't get it, you start to fret. Is he going to be the right guy? But you also have to, at times, kind of look at where Aaron Rodgers was at this stage of his career, the same stage that Jordan Love is at, and the numbers are very comparable. And Aaron Rodgers, 3 years into his starting career with the Packers, hadn't won a Super Bowl, hadn't won an MVP, and then he won a Super Bowl, and then he won an MVP. Then he won one a couple of years later, and then he won back-to-back MVPs, and he turned himself into a Hall of Fame quarterback. That's a lot to put on anyone. It's a lot to put on Jordan Love. But what we have seen is someone who as was talked about just a few minutes ago, you have someone who can absorb everything that Jordan Love was able to absorb with Aaron Rodgers, and not having the pressure for 3 years of learning how to be an NFL quarterback, I think only helped him. My confidence level in Jordan Love is pretty high. I'm just waiting for him to take that next gargantuan leap like Aaron did, like Brett did. And I think that Jordan Love can do that. We're just kind of waiting for him to do it. I'm not getting impatient about it by any stretch of the imagination. The trajectory is there. The steps are being taken, but it's very hard for a first year, second year, even a third year quarterback, whether they're starting right away or not, to come in and play the most difficult position in all of sports. That's why it's the most highly paid position in all of sports. That's why every team that doesn't have one is searching for one. And that's why the Packers have invested very heavily, not only in their starting quarterback, but then when that quarterback gets a little bit long in the tooth, in this case, 35 years old, they will go out and they will spend draft capital in a first round pick and go out and get their next one. Let him sit for a couple of years, let him learn the NFL. So the question is, how confident are you in Jordan Love? Yeah, I'm pretty confident. We're getting to the point where he's getting pretty close to being elite.
Yeah, I'm very confident in Love as well, just what he's been able to do as a quarterback. And even though this is only his third year as a starter, he's already accomplished a lot more than a lot of those other guys that we've seen drafted higher, that came into the league with a lot more hype. And he's shown a lot more and shown the ability to win games and play some really incredible football. I mean, when you're talking about other guys like Trevor Lawrence and, Bryce Young, who you're going to see this weekend, and other guys who were drafted early, drafted number one, drafted way near the top of the draft and going right away. And some of them have several years of NFL experience already. And they still haven't taken the kinds of steps that Jordan Love has. So I'm very confident in the Packers' choice in him and what he's been able to show so far.
Well, the Detroit Lions have shown a lot over the last couple of years, becoming a contender in the NFC North, let alone the NFC as a whole. This is Ryan Clark on why you should want to be drafted by Detroit.
There is no team in the NFL that I'd rather be drafted to than the Detroit Lions.
Because
if you go to the Detroit Lions, one, you're going to be developed. Yeah. I'm a Ross Brown, J-Mo Williams, Aiden Hutchinson, Penei Sewell. Two, you're going to be paid. Yep. It is such a compliment to not only Aiden Hutchinson, but Brad Holmes. He said, look, you're coming off an injury. Yeah. If you can show me that you're the same person, I promise I won't make you wait. Yeah. I promise you'll get paid. And he kept his word.
It's like the Eagles.
It's like the Eagles. Yeah. You get drafted to this team, you will not only develop, win, but you'll get taken care of.
How the times have changed, Doug.
Yeah, no doubt.
Lions are a destination you want to end up.
Sure. I think that is a testament to the NFL, but it kind of goes back to what you were saying about leadership and ownership and building a culture. And the Detroit Lions didn't have much of a culture for a long time. And sometimes when ownership changes, even if it's in the same family, but the old man decides to leave the mortal coil, if you will, and you bring in someone who has some new, fresh ideas. Sheila Ford Hamp has done, I think, a really good job in letting the football people do the football things. And Dan Campbell was an inspired choice from the standpoint that what Detroit needed was someone who to come in, kick some ass, and just kind of change the conversation around the Lions. I still don't know that he's a great tactician as a football coach. But man, these guys play hard for him. And I think sometimes that's half the battle. If you've got good coordinators, if you've got guys who on offense and defense are calling plays and calling plays smartly, which we've seen the last couple of years, but now both coordinators have gone on to other things. They've both gone on to become head coaches, whether it was Ben Johnson or Aaron Glenn. We'll see exactly how good Detroit is as the season goes on without those coordinators. But to want to be drafted by the Detroit Lions is not something that you would have heard even just, 5 years ago.
You retired early.
Yeah, so did Barry Sanders.
Right.
These guys wanted out. And so, yeah, I think it's a testament to a lot of things. But most importantly, I think it's a testament to ownership who has decided that, you know what, Detroit Lions football is important, and we've got to build from the beginning. And to get a guy like Aiden Hutchinson as your number 1 overall pick, a guy who's homegrown, quite literally from Michigan, went to the University of, I mean, and has produced. I know he was hurt last year, but has produced and wants to stay in Detroit. I think that can change the narrative and can change the entire fortunes of a franchise.
Yeah, and they've been able to change the culture. Dan Campbell, a big part of that, and what they've been able to do. Bringing him in, I know at the time it was kind of made fun of. It's like, really, Dan Campbell? That's who you're going with? This guy just talked about biting guys' kneecaps off. Like, what are you doing? But yeah, the players play for him. He does have some flaws as a tactician, as a coach, but he does have a lot of positives that seem to make up for it. And yeah, it seems to be a great organization for a young player to go to, which is not something we've usually been able to say about the Lions, but I mean, great for those Lions fans as well, because they have been stuck in misery, stuck in purgatory for like 30 some years. And finally, it seems like they've got it figured out and have themselves a good team.
Switching to the court, that's where you find the Milwaukee Bucks winning 120-110 last night over the Warriors without Giannis. 32 points from Ryan Rollins. What did they prove last night? Here is Doc Rivers.
We didn't blink. I didn't mention it. I walked in and just said, Kuz, you're at the floor. Didn't mention it. You can see Kuz. And as a matter of fact, we're just going to play. Just keep playing. I hate mentioning when guys are out because then they start thinking about it. So I told our coaches when we're going over the game plan, just go over the game plan. Didn't change anything.
What did the Bucks prove to you guys last night?
Yeah, it's one game. I don't know that they proved anything. You're going to prove it over the course of an 82-game schedule. Yeah, you still need Giannis. I think that Ryan Rollins is showing that he's a good NBA player, certainly a good shooter. So I don't know. I wasn't asking for them to prove anything last night other than, Golden State's still a good team, and they were able to win a game at home without their best player. I like the start that the Bucks have had, and they've got one more home game on this homestand against Sacramento tomorrow night before they go out and hit the road. But, I want to look at a bigger body of work than just one game myself. So I don't know that they, again, proved anything to me, but I wasn't also asking them to prove anything to me.
Yeah, I think if they proved anything, it's they proved that signing Ryan Rollins to a 3-year, $12 million contract is an absolute bargain.
That's pretty sure.
That was a fantastic move by John Horst in the front office. That was really kind of the most of what they proved, because we're still only a handful of games into this season. I'm with you, Doug. It's going to be proven over the course of a season, and ultimately they're all going to be judged on what happens once you get to the postseason.
Well, and with this, not in the postseason last year, the Badgers men's hockey team, they've started undefeated this year, and they beat Minnesota last night for the first time.
Yeah, they did.
Since 2023.
I like that we, found a way to score a power play goal. And then I thought our third period was really good management by our group. I thought they played selfless, possessed it, and when we had an opportunity to extend the lead, they did it. And we bent a little bit on the 6-on-5 and didn't break. I thought 7 really did a good job of just managing our group out there, and that's a big win for us.
Badgers win 5-2. Has the border battle lost a little bit of its luster?
No, not at all. Because Wisconsin's been down. Minnesota's been down. Minnesota's ranked going into this. I don't know that they're the same powerhouse that they were, but they were the 19th ranked team in the country. But I still think there's some juice. They've got some games up against Michigan and Michigan State. Both of those two teams are ranked number 1 and 2 in the country right now. Michigan scores a lot of goals. We had Brian Posick on earlier in the show, in case you missed it. But does the border battle lose anything? I don't think so. I mean, It's still Minnesota. You still hate the Gophers. You still want to beat them, and they did last night. And hopefully they'll complete the sweep tomorrow night at the Kohl Center.
And my question is, have we ever seen Batman and Mike Hastings in the same room? Because he sounded very similar to our Batman here. Just hearing him talk, I'm like, wait a minute, is that Mike Hastings or is that Batman?
I could go as Mike Hastings for Halloween.
Yeah, there you go.
Another bald guy.
Yeah.
Although that's really going conceptual.
Yeah, that's really conceptual. You got to have some sort of hockey stuff to kind of really
I don't want, and I can't walk around the house in blades.
No, can't do that. Do you have a hockey stick at all with you at home?
No.
You still probably could use a whistle.
Could use a whistle. I don't know how to skate though. That's very un-Wisconsin like.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the coaches generally aren't on skates though.
On practice they are.
DJ a wedding on ice?
I did. And it was the AHL gave me 4 minutes to do it. I got it done in 3. And I think half of that was just spent trying to not fall. But no, I don't know how to skate. It was challenging. It was
Bats
character
aren't
building.
good on ice either.
Character building. Well, it's very slow.
We don't want to put bats on skates.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Bad idea.
We got anything else in the Batman's bites today?
Appears as if that's it. That Nick guy didn't leave me any instructions here. Yeah, I guess that's Batman bites for today. Brought to you by Wisconsin Concrete Coatings, wiconcretecoatings.com.
All right. Thank you, Batman. We appreciate that very much. It is the Halloween edition, of course, of the D.N.D program. Drew and KB coming up at the top of the hour as well. A question that I have for Batman, Dave, and you out there. For Badgers football fans right now, what are you hoping to see in the next 4 games? They don't play tomorrow, but then they've got 4 games. At least 1 or 2 of them I would put in the winnable column. I think Washington is winnable. I think Minnesota is winnable. They haven't played well. They're not going to win if they played the same way that they played their last couple of home games against either Maryland or Iowa. I thought they hung tough with Oregon, but what we saw a year ago, Ohio State was
also a bludgeoning.
Ohio State, yes, absolutely a bludgeoning as well. But what we saw last year, I hate saying, "Oh, they quit." I'm saying that last year there were some winnable games at the end of the season that I just didn't feel like the effort was where it needed to be for whatever reason. And I'm hoping, for me, I'm going to answer my own question. I just want to see some effort. The effort that the Badgers showed against Oregon on the road at Austin last week, I want to see that same juice. I want to see, and maybe it's the young guys. Maybe you start to turn the page on some of the older players, and you start to get some of the younger guys in here who feel like they've got something to prove. Because it's been a hard slog for Wisconsin football fans. So what are you looking for these next 4 games? NickLaylaw.com talking text line opens you at 877-794-1973. Again, 877-794-1973. Also, another question is the best Halloween costume, and Batman's taking requests of all kinds. And we will have some of those as well, including say I'm not wearing hockey. It's Doug, Nick, and Dave, D&D here on the thing.
Right now.
There you go.
There we go.
Just search 97.3 The Game. What's your costume this year? We're sports and Halloween stuff all day on The Game.
And I love seeing the kids and the ghouls and the goblins and all the costumes that they wear. But I've never participated. But Erica's going to be at work, and it's just going to be me handing out Three Musketeers and the Kit Kats and Snickers to the kids. Do I need a costume?
I think so, Doug. To get into the spirit, it'll get the kids more excited. They'll enjoy it. Now we've got to figure out what.
Yeah, what costume though? That's the thing.
How about Walter White?
Okay,
go with that.
Okay,
and hand out a little blue.
But that doesn't really mean that much to me because I was never really into that show. I've heard it's very good. I don't have anything against it. Just it hasn't been my thing. We can go outside the box of just bald men.
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't have to be a bald guy. I play that part every day.
Well, this has to be believable,
right? I mean, they do have wigs that you can famously put on top of a bald head.
There we go.
It's always more interesting when somebody really commits and they shave their head because they want to be Dr. Evil or Mr. Clean or Walter White. So one of the things that is easy for me is I could just be a football coach and just throw on like a Packers polo shirt,
radio broadcaster,
and the headset.
Have a whistle.
Just throw a headset.
You got to have a whistle too.
You need a whistle. Oh, dang it!
Happy Halloween from all of us at The Game.
Now, a year in rock spotlight, 1968.
California's Creedence Clearwater Revival released their debut LP, which contains the number 11 single Susie Q. And in August, American band Tommy James and the Shondells have a number 1 hit in the UK with Moni Moni. It goes to number 8 in the US. And the Doors have their first number 1 album and their second and last number 1 single with Hello, I Love You.
When she moves, my brain screams out this song.
In November of 68, Van Morrison releases his second solo album, Astral Weeks, and Joe Cocker has a UK number 1 with his cover of the Beatles with a little help from my friends.
Don't you know I'm gonna make you with my friends? I promised myself I'd get back. Said I'm gonna try it with them too.
And in December, Motown holds the top spot with number 1 hits from Marvin Gaye, I Heard It Through the Grapevine, and the Supremes with Love Child. The Beatles released their first single on their own Apple label, Hey Jude, back with Revolution. The over 7-minute song went to number 1 in the US and the UK.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more from 1968. Coming up.
Drew and KB are talking sports and stuff every weekday from 2 to 6.
Christian Watson's return to the field for the Green Bay Packers. Obviously a huge story, and it's a huge story here in Drew and KB land because it means that we get to say hi to Christian's mom, Krista Lynn, our returning champion. What was it like for Wisconsin's favorite sports mom to watch her son return to the field after 9 months of grueling rehab and isolation and self-doubts, and to see him just frolic on the field like he was never hurt?
I'm going to be really honest. For the first time in my mom career, I was very nervous and anxious, and I'm not really that kind of a person often, but there was just so much leading up to this. And I mean, even after I talked to him on the phone yesterday, I called him before they were leaving the hotel and to head over to the stadium. And I was like, how are you going to get through knocking the cobwebs off? I mean, that's really what it is. There's literally nothing like an actual game or a game time situation that you can simulate. You know what I mean? With other guys coming at you at full speed, they want to hurt you. They want to take you out. How are you going to get through that? And he was like, just being really honest, Mom, I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to do me.
I mean, that's fantastic. It doesn't matter. You would have that same conversation with him if he was in Pop Warner football and as a professional. That's just mom stuff, and that's great.
You can find all of the shows in podcast form. Just search Drew and KB on the iHeartRadio app.
iHeartRadio goes one-on-one with Bryan Adams to talk about what he creatively enjoys the most.
Still, to this day, is the most exciting thing about what I do, which is writing songs. I like to write songs, and it's the only thing really about all of this that I really love. All that sitting around chit-chatting and going on tour, and that's all right, but for me, making music is the one thing that really sparks, and really you do get off on, I mean, yeah, there's nights, there's gigs where you can play and you come off stage and you think I don't have to play. I've just played the best gig I ever played. I can die now. And that's happened to me, but it would be nothing without the song.
Keep listening to iHeartRadio for more Bryan Adams and all your favorite artists.
Witchy woman, see how high she flies.
D.N.D, Doug, Nick, and Dave. The Halloween edition. Drew and KB warming up in the bullpen. They'll be in at the top of the hour. Condolences are due to our friend Jocko, Mike Jocks in Madison. He just posted on social media about the passing of his mom, Elaine, at age 91. Passed away this past Sunday. So certainly our thoughts and prayers to one of the true good guys in sports media, Mike Jocks. Affectionately known as Jocko, have the passing of his beloved mom. So our thoughts are with you, Jocko, and Godspeed to Mom Elaine. All right, back on the show for the last half hour here of the week. I'll be back on Sunday morning at 8 with Packers Game Day, live from Lambeau Field. And one of the questions that I just had a couple of minutes ago was, what are you looking for from this Badgers team over the course of the last 4 games of the season? Dan in West Bend writes, talking Badgers, Doug wants to get nuts. Come on, let's get nuts.
Let's get nuts.
Hey, listen, I mean,
last day before November.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
KB's about to have to give up those cashews.
Some participate, some don't.
Oh,
Nick. Those are one of those I don't. I think that's kind of a silly. If you listen, you do you. Or not, as the case may be in November. Consistency and improvement with each game is what Troy in 262 is wanting out of the Badgers. I've got a couple of other texts that have come in. Again, 877-794-1973. We were talking about the ownership group in Green Bay during Batman's Bites. Jeff in Fitchburg writes, the genius of what they've done in Green Bay is not much the investment itself, but doing so without ruining what they already had, which has been special for a century. It's a good point. I mean, again, you look at Lambeau Field, we've talked about the sign on the wall that says today is someone's bucket list, and it truly is.
Yeah.
Every game at Lambeau Field, someone is experiencing it for the first time. And it has been a destination for NFL fans, not only in the United States, but all over the world.
You know, Doug, I think there's maybe a parallel there, or maybe perpendicular with Wisconsin, because you talk about Green Bay, investing and trying to continue to grow into the future modern NFL without ruining what they already had because it was so special. With Wisconsin, when they brought in Luke Fickell, they made these changes, went to the air raid. They tried to get themselves, more modernized and move into, invest into it and move into the modern era of college football. But in doing so, they did end up ruining what they already had, which was a strong offensive line, the strong running game, the
homegrown talent,
always very good linebackers. And they ruined that kind of identity that they had trying to get into that next level. The Packers got into that next level without ruining their identity.
Yeah, certainly off the field, they didn't ruin any identity. I think that on the field, it started with Mikowski, right? And that's so it really started with Bob Harlan, because when Bob Harlan was elected president, he was looking at a demoralized fan base. He was looking at a dilapidated stadium. He was looking at a team that hadn't really won anything in 20 years. And he came in and said, this isn't acceptable. There's no reason why the Green Bay Packers can't be a winning football franchise because of the economic structure that was the genius of Pete Rozelle when he was the NFL commissioner. And so Bob Harlan then sent about to rebuild the franchise from the bottom up. And part of that was when Mike Holmgren was hired as coach, he was the hot young coaching assistant. He was the one that everybody was after, and the Packers were able to land him. Ron Wolf was given full operational control of every decision that would be made of player personnel on the field. That was never the case before, because you always had the executive committee who would kind of meddle in things in the last 20 years. Lombardi had full control, and then others, there were too many cooks in the kitchen. So Bob Harlan went back to what worked, and that was one strong personnel man being involved in all personnel decisions. And Bob Harlan he was asked incessantly about, can you believe that they traded a first-round draft choice for a third-round quarterback in Atlanta? And Bob Harlan just said, it's Ron's decision. That's what we hired. We hired him and we empowered him. And that's all you can ask for if you're being put in charge of anything in life. And that was the only thing that Ron Wolf really kind of demanded of the Packers. Like, I'm going to come here. I'm not going to have too many cooks in the kitchen. If I'm going to make a decision, that's it. The decision is mine to make. And so he traded a first-round draft choice to the Atlanta Falcons for a third-string quarterback. People thought he was nuts. And Brett Favre and Mike Holmgren just had this symbiotic relationship, and they just built from the ground up and built a franchise that ultimately won a Super Bowl, got to a second one, but the sustained success that they've had has been the baseline for the last, 35 years. Started with Bob Harlan. And when anybody talks about, who the Mount Rushmore of Green Bay Packers football is, they always forget about Bob Harlan. They always put, I get it. You put Bart Starr up there. You can put Aaron Rodgers up there. You can put Curly Lambeau up there. You can put Vince Lombardi up there. Any Mount Rushmore that doesn't include Bob Harlan is an incomplete Mount Rushmore of Green Bay Packers football. Because he started the rebuild of a franchise that had just been kicked in the nuts for 20 years.
Oh, and that's what makes it so hard, too, for some of those Mount Rushmores, because there are those important people behind the scenes, but a lot of times you think of the guys on the field. I mean, Bob Harlan was not on the field playing any games there for the Packers, which is what makes it so tough for some of those Mount Rushmores. Same thing where if you wanted to talk a Milwaukee Brewers Mount Rushmore, you got to include Bud Selig, but also it's like Bud Selig didn't really play. Also, Bob Uecker got to be included, but are you going to have 2 of your 4 on your Mount Rushmore be guys who didn't play really for the team? Like, and same thing with here, whether it's Bob Harlan or, Vince Lombardi as a coach or Curly Lambeau. Like, is it going to be guys that you think of as the all-time greatest players on the field or just important people, behind the scenes? Like, is that all in one Mount Rushmore or can those be separate Mount Rushmore?
Like in Batman's Mount Rushmore, you got to have Alfred in there. You got to have Robin in there.
Right.
So that's, those are 2 that are automatically there. I don't know where Commissioner Gordon runs into this. I don't know where Batgirl runs into all this. Or is Batman part of the Mount Rushmore of Batman?
Yes. I am the Mount. It's just me.
Just one face on your Mount Rushmore, Batman?
They can make a smaller one for Robin and all of those people, but just me. It's all about me.
What now? Does Bruce Wayne get anything up there, or is it?
I don't know who that is.
Okay. On the talking text, Doug needs to dress as Doug Dimmadome for Halloween. I don't know who that is.
Oh, Doug Dimmadome on the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
What?
Yeah. So
Right.
he was
the hell are you talking about?
He's a character on the Fairly Odd Parents, a kids show from back when I
Still
was
don't know
young.
what you're talking
and,
about.
Nick was very young when the show's
Yes.
out. But I mean, Google him. Basically, so you need like a white cowboy outfit with a cowboy hat that reaches the sky. Like you need a super tall cowboy hat that just goes as high as it possibly can.
Okay.
And I believe also a mustache. And that will make you Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've had some people suggest that I should get an emu and name him Limu, and then it would be Limu, Emu, and Doug.
Oh, yes. There we go.
I just need a yellow shirt and a mustache for that.
Good.
There you go. Just start, trying to sell insurance to people.
I could do that.
Yeah.
Keep
We
your
might have to sell insurance to people anyways in a couple of months.
Who's to say?
Who's to say?
You never know. I got to put food on the table somehow.
Yeah, exactly. We got to get a head start on that.
If you got any other thoughts about what my Halloween costume should be, that's open to you on the NickLayLaw.com talk and text line as well. 877-794-1973. I've got a couple of Mount Rushmores that you could suggest as well as we close up shop for the week. It's been a week. Of all the weeks, this has certainly been a week. And
It
we've
has.
got 19 minutes left to go. So let's run through the tape strong on the other side. D.N.D, Doug, Nick, and Dave, or Doug, Batman, and Dave on this Halloween, Friday, October 31st, 2025 on the Game Radio Network.
Trick or treat, we're sports and Halloween stuff all day on the Game.
You buying or selling the idea that you'll see more costumes out on Friday night this week when, for me and for my money, and Hunter, you probably can attest, young people get after it. Halloween was last weekend for most, like Halloween parties at houses and stuff. Friday night is actually Halloween, but seems like it's already done. Trick-or-treating's been done.
I didn't totally understand because Halloween is on a Friday night this year. So I don't, everything, and all the trick-or-treating was last, I'm like.
Really? Ours is always on Halloween.
As it should be.
In most communities, it was last weekend.
Okay,
like
that's
Saturday and
my
Sunday.
buy or sell.
Yeah.
Do you buy or sell trick-or-treating on not Halloween? Unless it's maybe, okay, the 31st is a Monday or something,
Yeah, if it's
right?
a Wednesday
and then
or
the
something.
30th maybe. But like, you were trick-or-treating on what would have been the 25th or 26th? Come on now.
That's
on, man.
That's pre-trick or treat. You can't pre-treat.
Right.
Happy Halloween from all of us at the Game. Stay tuned.
Yes.
D.N.D will be back in just a moment. Don't miss D.N.D middays here on the Game.
Yeah, I've just got to get on my soapbox here after just watching this series, this NLCS, and just how baseball has kind of played out here. It pains me to to say this and pains me to kind of talk about this because this is not something that I've wanted for the longest time, but that lockout is going to be coming in 2027. And at this point, I want it, and I want it to go as long as it takes until there is a salary cap. But MLB needs to implement a salary cap, and the Los Angeles Dodgers are proving to be exactly why. In terms of just the amount of money that the Dodgers are spending just on this roster and how absurd it is. The Dodgers this year have a $416.9 million on their competitive balance tax payroll. Let's compare to other salary caps around the league. The NFL, their salary cap, $279.2 million. The NBA salary cap, $154.6 million. The NHL salary cap, $95.5 million. You total that up, Doug, and you get $529.3 million for the salary caps for all three of the other major sports leagues. The Dodgers' competitive balance, their payroll, plus the luxury tax that they're paying $168.9 million in luxury tax. The Dodgers are spending $585.8 million just on this year's roster. That is more than all three of the other leagues' salary caps combined.
D.N.D. with Doug, Nick, and Dave. Middays here on the game.
iHeartRadio. Soundtrack Flashback.
The only song sanctioned for running upstairs is Gonna Fly Now. Bill Conti's theme from 1976's Rocky fits perfectly on today's workout playlists.
For more great movie soundtrack hits, check out Popcorn Radio on the iHeartRadio app.
Jordan Love and the Packers welcome the Carolina Panthers to Green Bay on Sunday.
I think we've learned that you can never look past any team. You got to take it 1 week at a time, and you got to be your best on Sunday. So I think we're going to have a great week of prep. I think that's a message that everyone's talking about. But, we got a good Panthers team who's been winning coming in, so we got to handle business.
D.N.D. is previewing every angle of Sunday's matchup on the game.
I'm Hunter Baumgart with a programming update. Where can you find the games you want to listen to and when? We've got the answers. Tonight, the Milwaukee Admirals are at home hosting the Cleveland Monsters. It makes so much sense. It's on Halloween, right? You can listen to that game on our sister station, Fox Sports 920 AM in Milwaukee. WOKY 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock faceoff with Aaron Sims. Also tonight, the Badgers women's hockey team is in action. They're hosting Minnesota. You can hear that game in Madison on 1070 The Game. And again, tomorrow, the Badgers women's hockey team hosts Minnesota at Levon Arena. You can hear that game in Milwaukee on Fox Sports 920 AM starting at 1:50. And in Madison, you can hear it on 1070 The Game. The Badgers men's hockey team also hosts Minnesota tomorrow, 5:30 pregame, 6 o'clock faceoff on WIBA 1310 AM in Madison. And the Milwaukee Admirals host Cleveland again tomorrow night, 5:30 pregame on Fox Sports 920 WOKY. And Packers football on Sunday. Pregame show with Doug Russell begins at 8 a.m. In Milwaukee, you can hear the coverage on 95.7 Big FM, the new home of the Green Bay Packers. And in Madison, Doug Russell's pregame show begins at 8 a.m. on 1070 The Game. All other Packers coverage begins at 10 a.m. on WIBA. And then Sunday Night Football features the Seahawks and the Commanders. You can listen to Westwood One's coverage on our sister station, Fox Sports 920 AM, 6:30 pregame, 7:20 kickoff on Sunday night. I'm Hunter Baumgart for the Game Radio Network.
It's D.N.D, Doug, Nick, and Dave. One final segment of the week here on Halloween. When we come back, it'll be November.
Oh, my goodness. Time flies. I thought the year just began.
No, it did not. No. The NFL season approaching the halfway mark as well.
Oh. I thought week 1 just started.
No, we are in week 9 of the National Football League season. Hopefully your fantasy football team isn't on a bye week like half of my team is this week, and then the other half is next week. So.
Half of mine. I had half of mine last week, half of mine this week. Baker Mayfield, Emeka Egbuka, out on bye. I got someone else important that's out on a bye week this week.
Batman never takes a bye.
No days off.
No days off for Batman.
No days off for Batman.
I wish.
Yeah. AJ Brown. That's the other important player for me that's on the bye this week.
Joe in Whitefish Bay writes, I would like to see Connor Stallions on the Badgers sidelines during the remaining games.
In a Halloween outfit?
Yeah, stealing signs.
Yeah.
I don't have it. Listen, it's just gamesmanship.
I'd rather see him on the other sidelines.
Hashtag
relaying
Connor
signs
did
to
nothing
us.
wrong.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, was it Chris Carter who said you need to have a fall guy?
Yeah.
Everybody needs to have a fall guy.
You got to have a fall guy. Jim
apparently-
Harbaugh had his fall guy.
Yeah, he did. Yes,
Yeah.
he did.
And he's like, hey, I'm just going to go to the NFL now before all this comes crashing down.
And he did. He wouldn't be the only one. And he's not the only one. I remember, Pete Carroll did the same thing. He got out of USC when the heat got a little high and skedaddled to the NFL and had some success with the Seattle Seahawks. Now he's the oldest coach in NFL history with the Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah. Although he did call a pass play with Marshawn Lynch, at the 1 yard
Well,
line.
he didn't call it. He's not an offensive play caller. He threw Darrell Bevel under the bus.
Yeah, just completely throw him under there.
Right.
And then back
Then-
the bus up and then drive over him again.
Sure. I mean, I still go back to that play going, you have Marshawn Lynch in your backfield. What are you doing?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
They're like, no one's actually going to think this. Everyone's going to think we're going to go for
You're-
Marshawn Lynch.
You're
But
talking
instead,
like,
we're
now
gonna
you're
pass
talking
it.
like Nick.
Yeah.
You're the
Sorry.
Batman
It's
thing.
rubbing off.
The Batman thing is rubbed off.
Yeah.
On you.
I don't know.
There'll be no rubbing off next month.
Right. Just keep the cashews to yourself. One of the things
And
that
the
I always
tissues,
keep with me just in case, because a 4-hour show is a long show, I always have some sore throat stuff with me. I think
Nick's going to have
Nick
one of
might
those after this show.
Yeah. I know. Who's Nick?
Again, I don't know who Nick is.
Right. So Batman, are you staying in costume all day long then?
It's not a costume.
Okay. Dave, what are we doing for Halloween?
It's my armor.
It's my armor.
I'm just going to be relaxing. I'm not going to be doing too much. Going to be watching some World Series Game 6.
Sure.
I'm going to be
That's
doing
tonight,
quite a bit of that. Yeah.
Starting at 7.
Yes. Yeah. So that'll be a lot of fun, and just kind of hanging out, and I know you got a lot of candy to give out today.
I've got candy to give out. I've got the World Series obviously to watch tonight. So the trick or treating goes from 5 until 7 in my neighborhood.
Convenient.
Very convenient. I think they looked at that when they decided to make the Halloween trick or treat hours what they were. So I get done with that. Usually things wrap up in the neighborhood, I would say around 6:30 to 6:40. But once 5 o'clock rolls around, it is the ghouls and the goblins. They are out. So
they're probably out by like 4:45. They're walking around.
Yeah, I mean, if you come in early, I'm not gonna deny you early. If you
early bird gets the worm or the candy in this case,
or the Three Musketeers, or see the key to Halloween candy
early bat gets
is the early bat does get the worm. The key is though,
I don't know
just
if
in
that's the
case
one.
you do have extra, always get something that you want. So, and everybody knows what the most popular Halloween candies are. What I cannot abide by in the stores are these bags of candy that you've got like 2 good ones and 2 crud ones, or 3 good ones and 1 just like Almond Joy. Nobody wants Almond Joy.
No.
If you want Almond Joy, you know what? You're just going to go out and buy Almond Joy on its own, because I will never buy a bag of, like, you got Rolos, love Rolos.
Yeah.
Kit Kats, that's to
fantastic.
me the best. Three Musketeers, I can I mess with the Snickers, absolutely. And then you throw something in there that's just so out of pocket.
Yeah. Like no one wants this.
I cannot do that.
Hey, here's a random Werther's Originals, to just throw in there.
Yeah.
Like who's putting that in your Halloween candy? Just ridiculous.
Grandmas.
Yeah, grandmas. We got to have, the little packs of the Skittles, the M&Ms, those in there as well. Got it.
Skittles,
so much variety.
I
I prefer M&Ms to Skittles, but they're kind of similar.
I don't even want Skittles. I mean, if my Nana loved Skittles, well, I don't know why, but that was her.
Taste the rainbow.
She, I guess, tasted the rainbow back
back
in the day. Nana died in '84, though, so it's been a minute since we bought Skittles in the house. So
a lot more rainbows these days,
right?
Especially out there.
Yeah. So have a safe Halloween. Have a good Halloween. Again, Packers game day coming up at 8 a.m. on, if you're listening in the Milwaukee area and you're used to listening to us on 97.3 The Game. Obviously, that's not a thing anymore.
Yeah.
It is online. It is on the app. You can search the 97.3 The Game app.
And on social media.
I mean, we're keeping it alive where we can, even though the 97.3 part of it is, it's just now they're just numbers.
Yeah.
But you can find us on the iHeartRadio app, or our new home for Packers football is the big 95.7 FM.
Just a little further down the dial.
Just a little, just a couple of clicks to the left.
Yeah.
Just a couple of, go from 97.3 to 95.7. So it's not even 2. It's like 1.5 clicks the other way. And that's where you'll be able to find the game. You'll be able to find Packers game day starting at 8. Wayne and Larry and John Kuhn on the sidelines, Packers OT. We will have all of that for you over there, and that will be the home of the Packers for at least the rest of the season. After that, who knows? Have a great weekend, everybody. I'll talk to you on Sunday. If not, I'll talk to you on Monday with these two clowns. See ya.
I'm Batman.
Trick or treat.
Are you buying or selling in affluent neighborhoods? And there are several around in the Milwaukee area.